Today on Homeworthy, we're exploring high glamour homes that showcase bold design and luxurious flair. First, we'll visit an English countryside estate that blends rocker chic with feminine details like lace and velvet. Next, we'll tour a chic New York City apartment with 16-foot ceilings, bold colors, and a car elevator. Then, we'll step inside a one-of-a-kind home in Birmingham, Alabama, featuring a European feel, Hollywood glamour, and a stunning pool and wine cellar. Afterward, we'll check out a Brooklyn apartment where custom pieces and clever finds reflect a unique, high-glam style. Finally, we'll head to Chicago's Gold Coast to see a 1930s apartment with a stunning view of Lake Michigan. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi Homeworthy, I'm Pearl Lowe and welcome to my home. So here we are in our hall. I bought this lovely, gorgeous, I don't know what they're called, conversation chairs. And I was looking one for a very, very long time. And a friend of mine who's a dealer said to me that she thinks she'd seen one up north. And I was like, oh my God, I really want one. So she ended up going up there anyway to buy some other things. And she sent me a picture and I said, yeah, that's it. That's perfect. So now we have one here. It probably, after having many kids and a lot of animals, we probably need to recover it at some point. But yeah, so come into my other room. This is our living room. This room's been decorated 3 times. We've only been here nearly 8 years, but I love decorating. So, and I like trying things out. I kind of use the house a lot as, I don't know, like my own little canvas. If I was an artist, this would be my sort of, where I kind of try things and some of it works and some of it doesn't. Often someone in our family will say, but I liked it before, it looks so much better. But this has been the 3rd time, and this is my favorite, the favorite one I've ever had. So I used Robert Kine. He's sadly not with us anymore, but he was this incredible interior designer. And he uses a lot of kind of abstract, like Aztec prints, and they're just, I don't know, quite English. And I think that when we lived in London, our house was very white. It was all sort of white walls, white floors. I had most of this furniture there, but I think when you come to the country, it's quite nice to have fabric, like layers, different prints, warmer, like velvets and, kind of thicker fabrics, because it gets quite cold in the country, especially in winter. So I wanted, for this room, I kind of wanted somewhere where it was, just cozy and we could, sit in front of a fire and watch movies and read and, so, because I did do it white and it just didn't work. So actually this is the best color that I found. And this sofa here I bought from a friend of mine who's an interior designer. And I got it covered in Nicholas Herbert fabric. And again, it's super comfy. It's just a really squashy, sort of fun sofa. But everybody loves this sofa. Look, at the moment I've got my dog Doris on it. It's her favourite sofa. This is actually a Rachel Ashwell one. And when Rachel had her shop in Notting Hill, I went in and I've never done that before. I walked in and I just said, oh my God, that sofa, I need to buy that sofa. But I didn't know how much it was and it kind of nearly broke the bank, but it was amazing. And originally I sort of chose the linen stripe that she had, which was like a kind of blue and cream linen. And then I went to Paris and I stayed in the Coste Hotel and everything was red velvet. And I bought behind over there, I bought this fringe lamp in the market, and I made my husband bring it home on the train. Well, no, I brought it home with him, but it was too heavy for me to carry. But anyway, and so then the whole then I decided that I wanted red velvets and fringe lamps, and so I changed the sofa to red velvet, and it now really works in here. And it's kind of, I don't know, it just feels like a really lovely, cozy room that we spend a hell of a lot of time in. It was green, and my other half, Danny, he has a really good eye, and he felt like it looked like an 80s conservatory when it was green. He was like, I just don't like it, Pearl. I know you're really, really talented, but this just doesn't work. And so I changed it, and I made it, I put like this white wallpaper with stars on it, and it just didn't work. So then this was the next one. Often I kind of go, come on, this is gonna work, and I do wing it. Very often I like to try things that I've seen. I don't know, it can be even in a movie. I can see a room in a movie and I think, oh, that will look good. Lots of things inspire me. Often when I travel, I went to Morocco and that really inspired me. We went to India and I got really into different colors. It just all depends, really. Flowers, in the summertime. I always think that, it all depends on when you're decorating, which season you're in. So sometimes, I'll be decorating the house, it'll be winter, and I think, velvets and leopard prints and, kind of heavier prints. And in the summer, you want to do light, kind of ditzy white florals, I don't know. It just all depends, really. We entertain in here. So often when we have dinner parties, we start, we come in here, we put the fire on, lots of lovely scented candles everywhere. And everyone just chats. And it's just a really nice place to kind of sit and chat. We've had parties in here where we've taken the sofas out and we've put music on and everyone dances and things like that. This room really reminds me of lockdown when we were kind of, because I had all my kids at home, all 4 of them. And it was a very special time because we would just be here playing games, or, one night we all dressed up and did a murder mystery night and we were all in kind of mad clothes. And we just had quite a nice, fun time. I mean, it was obviously horrible in many other ways, but we made the most of it. And I just remember, in this room, I think we spent most of our time in here. But at Christmas, we had 23 people staying here. And this was last Christmas. And we had log fires. And my brother-in-law is part of BAFTA. So he had all the pre-release movies. And we just watched movie after movie after movie. It was really fun. I'm a bit of a sucker for floral furniture. I love things. I'm really into folk art. I always have been. I'm really into the French, the floral sort of. This is actually Florentine. I'm into Florentine as well. So, and I'm a real sucker. I always buy floral painted furniture, and there's also Swedish, and I like it. I like things that are imperfect. That I don't like new things. I like things that have a history, that tell a story, and that I actually think it's really nice when, my other half will tell you otherwise, because he likes things to work really well. He gets really upset when I bring things back from the antique fair because, it won't have it won't shut properly, or it'll be he gets really cross with me. And my lovely friend, who's this unbelievable florist, she's like a proper artist. On Instagram, she's called Swallows and Damsons. She's in Sheffield, and so we put this installation on, but it will stay forever because that's what happens in this house. Things just stay for years. Once they're put up, that's it. And then the fireplace is really wonderful. That's Charnwood, this wonderful guy nearby who installed it. And it's so warm. I mean, honestly, it could heat the whole room, because it's a very cold house because it was built in 1820. So it's very old and it's very big. I mean, it's kind of got, quite a lot of rooms. It's got 11 bedrooms. So, to heat it is an absolute fortune. And also, we find even heating it, putting it on full, you're always walking around in a sort of, a fur coat or something. It's just like, I got blankets and layers in the winter. It's just nuts. So you need one of those. I'm quite a romantic person. I love interiors that are feminine, but yet have an edge. So I kind of, I started dyeing bits of lace fabric in 2001, so long ago, when I was still a singer, and I would just kind of sit in my front room. I ended up buying this huge kind of washing machines because it became a business overnight. It was crazy. I did a shoot for Elle Decoration, and then my business went mental, and I was like suddenly dyeing all these lace things for people. And so now I still love that look. I still love the lace. I mean, this is one of them here, but this isn't a dyed one. This is just what I sell. And this is just an ivory one that's natural. But I do hand dye them at home. And all these years later, 23 years later, I still sell them. It's crazy. And I just love chandeliers, fringe lamps, flowers, anything that's kind of girly, but yet, is a little bit more edgy and rock and roll, I suppose. Okay, so I'm going to now take you to our kitchen, which is our other favorite place. This is our kitchen. When we bought the house nearly 8 years ago, we bought it from a friend. We knew her, and she had 5 children. They'd all left home. She was living here on her own. And a friend of mine took me here and said, listen, I think this is your house. This is definitely your house. And then I walked around, and I loved it. I fell in love with it, but it was way too much money. And I watched it on the market for 6 years, like nobody. It was really bizarre. And one thing led to another, and the price came down, and we were able to afford it. And one day I saw her in the market, and she said, make me a silly offer. I really need to get out. And so I made her a silly offer, and she said, yeah. So 6 years after I'd seen it, I bought it. So mad. When we came here, she had a big table here, but I wanted to be able to wash up and look at this beautiful view. I contacted Devol. They're just this amazing kind of kitchen company. And I asked them if they would be up for collaborating. And they said we could do something. So they came along, and I actually designed a kind of island that has sort of glass within it, which they didn't do, but now they do it because they said it was, they loved it so much. So we've got sort of glass here. These were found in an antique market, these stools, which they've actually emulated on their websites. These are the originals, but they've got some for sale which are very similar. And they made me this lovely pantry cupboard, which has all our kind of food in there. And spices and everything like that. What else? And they did these. But honestly, it's the best kitchen. I mean, actually, you know what it's like when you have parties, everybody always stays in the kitchen anyway. So everyone always is in this kitchen. We just sit here for hours. Often I get, sort of messages on Instagram saying, where did you get your floors? It's like, no, sadly, this is what, came with the house. So these lead out to the garden. They were here. Everything's, in England, we have this thing where, so this is grade 2 listed, which is not ideal. You can't do much. You have to stay within the tradition of the house. So, so we haven't done any kind of structural work or anything like that. It's just decoration. I was looking for, those industrial big lights, because I was thinking it's such a big room and I need an industrial light. And one day, because I just, I look on the internet all the time just for things. And then I came across these lights in Exeter. It's, not so far from here, but it's a couple of hours away. And I was like, oh my God, that's they're the ones, you know, those are going to look amazing. So I'm really, really pleased with them. They're so cool. So this is my friend. She's the artist Sam Taylor-Johnson. You know, she's married to Aaron Taylor-Johnson. She's the most incredible photographer artist. She's also just directed the Amy Winehouse movie. So when she moved to Somerset, she said, would you come and help me with my house? And I was like, yeah. Because I used to, you know, interior design other people's houses. But I don't really do that anymore because for many reasons, but just, I don't, anyway. And she said, you know, please let me pay you. And I said, no, it's fine. And she said, look, okay, I'll give you a piece of art. So that's the one I chose. I guess we call this our breakfast room because we have another dining room, but it's really big. So it kind of, actually at the moment, I keep looking everywhere. Sorry, I keep looking everywhere and thinking, oh my God, there's so much stuff everywhere because often because we've been shooting, so there's lots of things for sale and it just feels a bit like a shop at the moment. Sorry about that. But yeah, so this is our dining room. We have breakfast here and we eat here as well because it's a bit more cozy. You know, the other room sits 23 people, whereas this one's just where we kind of have our cozy dinners, just the 6 of us, you know. The wallpaper, again, this has been decorated about 3 times. I think I've gone around the house 3 times since we've been here. And it's that sort of thing where you start decorating and you're like, no, that's wrong. And you get this, I don't know, I get this thing where I'm like, I know it's wrong, but I live with it for a little bit. And then I'm like, no, I can't live with it. So I have to change it, you know? So, but when I get to the point where I really love it, I can keep it for years, you know? So this was done last year, I think. And this is House of Hackney. You know, I just buy things I love. And when I get bored of it, I sell it and put it on my website. It's fun. And the rugs, I used to be into Moroccan rugs. And then I was like, I went to Morocco I don't know, the kids said their childhood was spent in Morocco because I used to like to go there to buy rugs. And my husband was like, why don't we just go to Notting Hill and just go to the Moroccan shop? It'd be way cheaper because we'd have to all go there and then pay the charges of bringing the rugs back. And it was just a nightmare. But it's that thing of going around the markets and finding the ones you love. And it was before Etsy and all that. So, but anyway, then I got bored of Moroccan rugs and I got into Persian rugs and Turkish rugs. So this is what they are. I'll probably get bored of them at some point. They're supposed to be like this. Yes. So so basically we recently got a kitten and he is so annoying because he likes to bite through all of this. So we have to do that. But let me put it down so you can see. So this is the way they are. But yes, so basically what this is for is if someone's cooking, then you can just do this and not see it. So yeah, and then it's just a little bit more, you know, they do sharp. Listen, I appreciate all sorts of decorating, but for my own home, because I've obviously decorated quite a few houses and people will say to me, you know, the brief is, I want it very clean, I want nothing else, you know, and that's fine. But that's not what makes me happy. What makes me happy is that I don't mind if there's, you know, I want it to be eclectic. I want it to be lived in. We have 4 children. We have a grandchild. We have animals. And I just want it to be this fun, happy place where it's not too precious. So people can just, the only thing I get, people can just enjoy themselves. And we do entertain a lot. And also, I do get a little bit precious with red wine because like I love beautiful tablecloths and often I'll make it look really nice and someone, you know, will spill red wine. You can't get it off. So that's the only thing I get a bit precious about. But apart from that, anyone can do anything. When we first moved, I was thinking I wanted it all mirrored, you know, like mottled mirrors. But my other half wanted a gallery wall. So he did that. He gathered all the fun pictures that we had and put them all on one wall. And then Ben, this guy who works for Rachel Ashwell, he made the gallery wall. We used to have that chair, but we changed it. And he made that for me, which I just love so much. But it's all the pictures that are on our gallery wall. So it's incredible. This is my best friend. She's called Zoe Grace, and she created the I'm Not Sorry, and also the applause. And this is, sometimes it's, yes, I'll put them on so you can see. Those are Zoe. You'll see her work all over my house. So we're gonna leave this room and we're gonna go to my creative room, which is where I do all my work. So here we are in my creative room. So this is where I work every day. I suppose people have an office and I have a creative room. Everything in this room is for sale. I can't believe, no, but it's, you know, my family call me a hoarder, but I'm not a hoarder. I just love buying beautiful things. And what's been amazing about creating a website where I can sell everything is that I can buy beautiful things, own them for a little bit, and then let them go. I was a singer for many years, and I felt really guilty when I used to go on tour and leave my children. I was really miserable. It was a very kind of toxic life, lots and lots of drugs and alcohol, and it just didn't suit me anymore. I got sober in 2005, and I started to change career paths in 2001 when I started designing. My mum's an interior designer, so it's in my blood. My grandmother was a really incredible dressmaker, and I should have gone to fashion school because I would always cut up my own clothes and, you know, make my own stuff. But I didn't. I chose music, which is great, and I had a fun time, but I wanted to be in a job which brought me joy, you know, and what brings me joy is creating things. So in 2005, I moved to the countryside. I found some local dressmakers and I started making black lace dresses, and I sold them in Liberties and the Cross Shop and all boutiques around London. And then Peacocks, this high street store, asked me to do a collab with them. They said it was just for one season, but it was so popular that I worked for them for 3 years until they went into administration, and then it kind of ended. But I had my fan base and I set up on my own. So 2015, I started creating kind of costumes for kids because my little one, she was about 5 at the time. She only used to wear vintage kind of crazy 1920s costumes. So, and they were quite scratchy. So I decided to make patterns from them. And one day I was in town and I bumped into an old friend and she said, "Oh, I'm working for Harrods. Why don't you bring..." And she said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I've got these costumes." And she said, "Let's have a meeting." Anyway, started selling them in Harrods and Selfridges, and then I just thought, you know what, I can go back to dresses now. I'm going to do some dresses. So that was 2017, and ever since then I've had my website, and it's been amazing. I have local seamstresses that, you know, we do bespoke, but we also, you know, I'll show you. So we do all these beautiful, I mean, I'm wearing one, obviously. I only ever wear my dresses because they're just flattering and they're good for all body shapes. But this is one of them. So they're all sort of based on 1930s, 40s patterns. These are all Liberty prints. And I'm trying to see what I've got here. This is a winter one that I did, which is just kind of really lovely. And this is this is the one I'm wearing, but in white, which is kind of like a broderie anglaise. But they're just, you know, I have like women buy, I had one lady the other day say she's got 15 of my dresses because they're the only flattering dresses she can wear. Because it's good for people with boobs and bums and, and older ladies, because it's horrible when you're older and you go into a changing room and you look so awful and everything. But, these are good. They're just flattering and, you can wear them with boots or shoes or, yeah. So that's what I'm doing now, which is fun. So these were the costumes that I created. So basically what happened was when I lost my job with Peacocks, I got a bit down and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I thought, you know what, I'm not gonna, I created a book called, it was Pearl Lowe's Vintage Craft. And I worked on that for a year. And I thought, you know what, I'm not gonna do dresses anymore. I'm just gonna figure out what I want to do. And when I started creating these, I thought, well, I'll do this for a bit. But it gave me the confidence to go back and do dresses again. But this is the first outfit so this was like a kind of clowny outfit. And I have got a few here, but obviously I'll show you the cape. I did this amazing cape, which I still create now, but, so this is a little cape that I sold so many of these. They're sort of all made with silk and tulle and, and I created my own Harlequin print out of pink Harlequin. I've got lots of pictures of my daughter Betty and her friends. We did a huge we did a few fashion shows and it was so fun because we'd get all her friends, boys and girls walking down the runway in all these clothes, and we'd get people doing their makeup, and it was just such a fun time, like there was a couple of summers where we just, all the parents would be there, and it was just, we'd have parties and catwalks. It was fun, and then Betty got to about 10 and was like, Mum, please, no more. I'm not modeling your clothes anymore. So I was like, okay. She stopped. What else have I got? Oh yeah, this is another one. This is a really beautiful little top that I did. So you can see they're really lovely and just fun. I mean, as you can see, lots of textiles. I sell lots of, kind of crochet. I'm really into crochet. Not everyone else is, but, I dye these kind of, I'm quite into crochet. And then these are just tablecloths that I do. And I just dye them up. I find them in the vintage shops and it's, it's a nice, it's so weird. I have ADHD for my sins. And so I get quite bored of things. Like I'll do something for a while and I'll think, and then I get an idea to do something else. And what's so great about, having a website or having Instagram is that you can just, if you feel like doing something, just release it. You don't have to do it like twice a year, spring, summer or autumn, winter. You literally just have an idea and put it out on your website, put it out on Instagram, and that's that. That's what's so the beauty of the internet. And, when I first started working, we didn't really have that. So it was harder. You had to rely on a shop. You had to have a big markup. It was always it wasn't as easy as it is now, So, so that's my, sorry, this is tidy for me. You have no idea. I had to tidy before anyone came here today. And then I do cushions as well. So I do these with one of my best. So that's the other thing I love is working with my friends. So I did a collab with my friend Trash Velvet. And so we do these for Christmas. So we have like lots of different cushions and it's really fun. So yeah, that's all really. I just spotted something as well. Something else sequin. Look, I did this I started doing costumes for adults. I know what I wanted to show you. Oh my God, I have the most amazing thing I want to show you. So this is just a little circusy, very fun. I'm really into sequins, but I'm going to show you our best-selling, sorry, going back to the Harrods, this was the first thing I designed, which, hang on, I'm going to put that there. So this was a butterfly outfit. I sold so many of these. Look at that. It's so cool. It's sort of, so the girls, I've got lots of pictures as well of the girls in these. And they'd walk down the, you know, it's so funny. Amazing. So I kept one just so that, you know, I didn't really want to. So I haven't made them for years, but anyway. So this is my bathroom. Actually, this is one of the things that has, oh, I did have wallpaper in here, and then Bert and May, who do these wonderful tiles, said they would gift me some lovely tiles, and was I up for them? And so I picked them, and they were so beautiful. And so we changed the whole bathroom, and I love it so much. And this is their bath as well, which is amazing. It's so bad because there's the curtains, again, the cat. So normally the cat destroys everything. So normally this is sort of like that, but anyway, I can't do it now. It's just, oh yeah, there you go. So yeah, here. But he's, yeah, since we've got the cat, it's a bit of a nightmare. But anyway, I think the mad thing about, because again, pink's my favorite colour, so I always just end up like going back to pink. Because it's just such a beautiful, and it just, you know, you can just do so much with it, I feel. It's not as sort of, I think sometimes white can be quite stark, and then pink is just a good colour to work with. I love pink and green, pink and cream, you know, it's just, I don't know, it just really works, I feel. And then I don't know why, I just put a brown rug on the floor, but I thought it kind of picked up on the copper bath, you know. So this room was pink, and then I just thought, I don't want wallpaper in here because, again, it's nice to sometimes just have colour, just have like a really bright, nice, warm colour. And this is great in the winter, and it's also good in the summer as well. So it's a Benjamin Moore colour. You know, we painted the floors white because they were brown. They were like, you know, they were the elm colour, but it just gives it that lift of, you know, that reflects everything white. So the bed is I was lusting after that bed for many, many months, and then someone contacted me from Soho Home, said, would I do a shoot and I'd get gifted a bed. I was like, what? Oh my God, amazing, yes. So I got that bed, basically. And it's pretty amazing. And then the usual sort of, you know, I love mirrored furniture. I've been collecting it for many years. It's kind of like, you either get them from the 20s or the 50s. And this was my first ever piece of furniture I ever bought. And it cost a fortune back then. I mean, literally 20 years ago. And I've got the dressing table and then the little mirrored side tables. And again, you know, my obsession with the Persian rugs and just fringe lamps, and I love feathers. And yeah, it's just kind of, I don't know, I guess I just throw it all together and then hope it works. And then sometimes it doesn't, and then I have to sell things, which is a bit annoying. I'm really obsessed with the Bloomsbury set, and I went to Charleston House, which is in Lewes, and it really inspired me because I don't know if anyone's ever been there, but it's everything is painted, and everything, because obviously they had so much, it was, you know, 100 years ago, whatever, and it was there wasn't much to do apart from paint walls, paint fireplaces, paint. So all the wallpaper was beautiful, but it wasn't wallpaper, it was painted. And the furniture, and they've kept it as it was. And I think that's what really inspired me to start painting instead of using wallpaper. And then obviously then you think, oh, what else can I paint? You know, what else can, and then it's a massive faff, you know, you have to end up taking everything down and start again, you know. Oh, I was one more thing. So this is a lovely lady who made these for me. She's called Bovamp. She's great. I think she's so talented. She's really cool. So we're now in my youngest daughter's room. It was my oldest daughter's room, but then the youngest one decided that this one was nicer, so she's swapped. But now she has two rooms, so she has another room and this room. So this room has, you can't really see, but it actually does have, this is Nicholas Herbert wallpaper, and I quite, again, pink. It's warm pink, and it's kind of got a lovely feel to it. These headboards I made in collaboration with Coco and Wolf, and they're available to buy, but we did them in Liberty prints. This is Coco and Wolf as well. It's all Liberty prints, but I came up with the idea because I got into because we have a house on the beach, and I started getting into divan beds, which are just very plain, but I realized that they hurt my back, you know, like if you're trying to like read or anything. And I thought, well, why doesn't and I was searching online looking for headboards, you know, just soft ones that you could just hang up, but there wasn't any. So I created ones myself. Yeah, like I said, I did them with Coco and Wolf. So it's been really fun. She has a very lovely view overlooking the countryside. So lovely to look at that view every day. And these are, again, my curtains that I make, and just old chair, lamp, you know, lamps, old lamps. And then this chair here, I just covered myself. Not myself, I found the fabric and got a friend to cover it for me. That butterfly made it on the front of my books. I released a book in 2018, which was called Faded Glamour. That was the cover of it. I found that in an antique fair, and I just was like, oh my God. And it was so expensive, but I was just like, I've got to have that mirror. That mirror is amazing. Yeah, and then this is one of, I design velvet dressing gowns. I'm really into velvet dressing gowns. I just again, it was something that I couldn't find a nice shape. So I designed my own. So that's another thing that I'm quite into. Okay, and then we're going in here. There's some costumes. I like hanging costumes. That's quite a nice thing to do. This is the bathroom. It's a bit messy, sorry about that. It's got my granddaughter's stuff there. And here's one of my dyed lace curtains. This is one of the ones that I hand dye. This wallpaper's Farrow & Ball. I thought it was quite 20s, quite into the 20s. I love the 20s. I think I would have been a really good flapper girl. Sadly, I wasn't. Born in the wrong time, that's what I say. This was my eldest daughter's room. I decorated it because my eldest daughter lives in London, but whenever she came to stay, she'd be here, Daisy. But now she's decided, now she's got a little girl and she wants to be nearby, so she's rented somewhere. So my youngest has taken the room. But the funny thing about my youngest is that she's really similar to me, and she's got very similar taste. So she just appreciates this kind of decor. She hasn't asked to change it or anything. I think she loves it in here. So it's fine. But maybe if she's going off to university in September, so I think she'll probably have to start decorating her own places. But the last bedroom I'm going to show you now, which is, I'll take you in there now. So this has been recently decorated. This one had a very beautiful orange wallpaper that was, again, Robert Kime that I told you about. But they discontinued it. The room, when we had a lot of rain, it got flooded. Not flooded, but it became really damp and all the wallpaper got ruined. So I had to take it all down and I put this House of Hackney one up. But I wanted it to be similar because it really worked. Again, this is one of my Coco and Wolf headboards because I used to be really, really into French beds, but again, I think divans are actually more comfortable, and so we used to rent this house out for, and we still do sometimes, because it sleeps so many people. It is like a holiday rental, so you can rent it for the summer, and I just felt like we needed more comfortable beds, so we kind of got rid of all the French ones and got divans. So those really work with the divan. And also this bedroom is so cozy. I just felt like it was like a nurturing bedroom, you know. So hence why it's got, you know, a quilt and, you know, just coziness. It's so magical. It's just I love this room. I think this is definitely somewhere I would be really happy in if it was my bedroom. It's just it's very girly. I thought when my little grandchild grows up, you know, it would be nice room for her, you know, just to be in if she comes to stay. So I don't know, I just thought it was really cute. This is my favorite mirror I've ever bought. I just love it. It's a 20s one. How cool is that? You can buy things in here. You can buy the chair, you can buy the little cherubs. Lots of things on the website. But most things in this house are for sale. It's quite funny. A house should be a fun, exciting, cozy place where you just relax and enjoy.
Today's Homeworthy episode features the glamorous New York City apartment of interior designer Jamie Drake. His luxe home has 16-foot ceilings and is filled with bold color. It almost feels like a chic cocktail lounge. The pièce de résistance, an elevator that lifts his car directly up to his apartment. Be sure to like and subscribe for more home tours. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Like and subscribe for more.
Hi, welcome to my home. I hope you find it homeworthy. Come on in. I'm Jamie Drake, co-principal of Drake Anderson Interior Designers based here in New York City, and I'm welcoming you to my home here in New York City in Chelsea. Growing up, I always wanted to be a designer from a very young age. I resided in Woodbridge, Connecticut, a small town outside of New Haven, and as a 7-year-old, 8-year-old, I had a backyard fort with my best friend, and he was in charge of sort of the heavy lifting, moving the big rocks around this pit that we have, which was our fort, our clubhouse, and I was in charge of antiques and decorating. That included me going into an abandoned barn, up the hill and down and through the woods, and finding rusted out wash basins, dusty old glass bottles, and those were the accessories that I had to work with. My apartment, you enter in directly off the elevator, which is the way my last apartment was too. Many people find that strange and surprising, but to me, that's the normal. So the entry here sets the stage, and straight ahead of you is a beautiful piece by Chuck Close, a wonderful artist whose use of color, I think, is something that resonates with me greatly. You know, one of the things that attracted me to this apartment when I bought it was very different than my last apartment. Here I was going to have a great room with an open kitchen. I've never in my entire life had an open kitchen before, but I live in a modern world. I never had a TV in my living room before, but now I live in a modern world. And so I was attracted to this giant, big, square great room. And there was no building for me to look at. So I was taking a leap of faith, and luckily as a designer I could envision space from a plan, and this really did turn out to be the drama that I wanted. Big 32-foot square room, 16-foot ceilings, and everything is open. So often in our work we have challenges, and one of the challenges in this room was there was a structural column centered or off-centered in the room. And I struggled with it for a while in my mind, and I thought, what do we do here? And people said, oh, mirror it, make it disappear. And it's like, this thing isn't disappearing no matter what. It was 36 inches square. And I decided to make it actually larger and more important. And I encased it on all four sides with millwork of quite complexity that gave me a way to divide the room in two and create two different zones. Here on this side is the TV. Living with a TV exposed for the first time in my life. There's storage underneath it. And then on the opposite sides, there are storage cabinets with beautiful woven steel and brass mesh inserts in the doors. And then on the opposite side, there are floor-to-ceiling bookshelves. You know, I really love having a TV in the living room because it turns out occasionally you do want to sit with people and watch TV. And so it worked in well here. The complexity of materials, I think, helps. So what I did here was there's ebonized, cerused white oak. There's gray lacquer. There is the woven metal and brass inserts on the doors. And then there are patinated steel corners that with exposed screws. So it's kind of brutalist in a way, but in an elegant way. And the TV fits in perfectly as another material in the same palette. So this is my idea of a media room. So this side is actually the more casual. I know to most people this doesn't look too casual, but I have this giant sofa that is one of the few pieces I brought over from my old apartment. And it's huge and it's wonderful. And for big groups, again, talking about entertaining, easily 6, 8, 9 people can join each other on this couch lined up in conspiratorial whispering. I bought this wonderful Harvey Prober swivel chair in Palm Springs, and I just love its big egg-shaped form. The cocktail table I designed, and we've done variations on it for clients over the years. This was the first time I did it, and it's absolute black marble and pure white marble joined together in this kind of runway pattern, whether it's a runway for an airplane to take off or a runway for a fashion show. See it as you wish. I did start to buy art because I love art when I signed the contract on the apartment, and one of the first things I bought was this beautiful sculpture by an Italian artist, and it's marble tires, and it's carved out of one piece of marble, but it's interlocking. And I started to collect things that I felt were rather indicative of the history of this block and this neighborhood in New York, which was taxi cab and car repair shops. I love a big coffee table, and especially in front of this big sofa. In its former incarnation, I actually had 2 cocktail tables, but you know, now I went with one big one. And it's a wonderful place to create a tablescape and things that give you a sense of delight and a sense of interest. A stack of books. Gracie Mansion, there's a book about a project that I worked on in 2002. A wonderful Salvador Dali brass clock face, melted clock face that I bought in the Paris flea market a million years ago. A dark, it looks like a black glass candlestick. It's actually the deepest, darkest blue, which you can only pick up in brilliant light, which I bought from an antique shop on Bleecker Street when Bleecker Street was filled with antique shops, long gone sadly. And this beautiful gilded chain is actually a necklace. And I wore it once, although I didn't wear it around my neck. I wore it on my hip at a fabulous party that Bronson Van Wyck gave in Mykonos. the Gods and Goddesses Party, a great party. This cashpo is actually from a line I designed for a wonderful company called La Brazil, and it's a wastebasket. And there are matching tissue boxes and canisters that go with it, but I decided to repurpose it as a cashpo. And it's beautiful gilded ceramic made in Italy with this wonderful rough texture. It's called Valerie. So I did buy some new art for this apartment, and this giant wall above this giant sofa needed something very commanding. And I bought this beautiful photographic piece by the German artist Thomas Ruff, and it's so evocative to me, and it's playful, and it's mysterious, and again, thought-provoking. What is it? And actually, it's a mutated face, digitally mutated, but you can't see the face. Don't spend too much time staring at it. And again, it's the way that the colors layered together change. The same thing like the Bridget Riley I have, the Chuck Close, so many artists that I admire and have passion for. It's about the interaction of color, which I think speaks to me personally about my own work. I describe my design style, as we do at Drake Anderson, as bold, confident, witty, exquisite, sexy. Those are some of the essays actually in our new book that's coming out in September 20th of this year, 2022, published by Rizzoli, and it's called Bold, The Interiors of Drake Anderson. Every time I say the title, I put the emphasis on bold, which is how it's in the typeface on the cover. And we're really, really excited about that. But, you know, it's urbane, the work we do. It has a sense of luxury, even if the textiles sometimes are more elemental. And we like a sense of wit and humor too. Not looking for belly laughs, but things that put a smile on your face and maybe make you think a little. You know, hard to know how my love for color came about, but probably because my mother was an artist. She was a painter. Gave it up early to raise 3 children, but she was a painter who studied at the Yale Art School. And my father was in the printing business. And I think going to that, the printing plant that he owned, and seeing these tubs of viscous ink and shiny, incredible intensity of color and depth because wet ink is like that, definitely infected my mind. When thinking about this apartment and what was offered, the kitchen was really a key factor to me. And so here we are in the kitchen that I have now. The kitchen that was part of the package was far from bad. It was designed by Annabelle Seldorf. How bad could it be? But there was a couple of major things for me. One was I really absolutely was insistent upon having Sub-Zero and Wolf appliances because I absolutely feel they are the finest in the industry. Secondarily, I thought the kitchen just felt a little tentative for my style. And it was this kind of warm, was it cherry wood or something? It just wasn't a color I responded to. It was very clever, but it wasn't for me. So I negotiated to buy without a kitchen. And for the closing, there was a little tiny, like a Susie Homemaker kitchen installed, because you have to get that for the C of O. But as I started to think about what I wanted a kitchen that, knowing it would be open, that looked really more like a wet bar. Didn't anticipate cooking myself, which I didn't for a very long time. But I wanted something that also served for entertaining well. So I do have the 4 counter stools at the end where I can sit down and have a meal by myself or with a few friends. But that, when I take the stools away, is a perfect setup for a bar. And that's where the bar gets set up. When I'm having a dinner, this is where the buffet gets set out. And it's enough space to set out an entire buffet, as I said, for, you know, I've had, I think, as many as almost 100 people for dinner. I sketched this design freehand, and then we scanned it and put it in CAD and sent it off, and that's how it was done. There's a huge steel understructure. Corian, of course, is a perfect material to hide seams. This didn't come in one piece, but you can not find a seam. I defy you to find a seam. There is power worked into it for underneath, long before I knew I needed a home office at the other end. And again, it's a fabulous display piece. It's a wonderful statement. And then it rests atop a gilt box. And the gilt box has tons of storage in it. I think, like all designers, a surface is a place to be creative. And so once again, here I have stacks of books. I have a sculpture by the artist Reynaldo Sanguino. And what's so fun is when you buy something and they come together with other things you already own. So this very cute little animal I bought on a trip to Israel, a place I just went with great friends and really enjoyed. And this also came from Israel, a different place completely. And so you have this very high-end piece of art, and then this, which is truly kind of just a souvenir, and this, which is absolutely a beautiful work of art by a young ceramicist. What ties them all together is color, the orange. So that's how you bring it all together. Here was the perfect place for me to hang this 5-part painting by Ruben Toledo, the artist, and it climbs the wall. It brings your eye up to the ceiling. I think it's so important to really utilize the ceiling height. It is a fantasy take on a New York City skyscraper. It's neither the Chrysler Building nor the Empire State Building. It's kind of an amalgamation. The bar tray sits here, and it makes it easy to use and encourages conviviality. So here I am at my counter with these beautiful stools covered in this gorgeous hand-woven leather and metallic thread fabric. And, you know, I've actually been here quite a few years. I've been here, I think it's almost 11 years. And over the course of time, I haven't changed much, but I reupholstered these recently and I love them. And this, when I entertain, is the bar. The bar set up, and 2 bartenders can work here quite comfortably. We push this over a little bit, all works. And post-pandemic, or we're in it still, but as a result of being locked at home for so many months, I finally ordered a dining table and chairs. And I love it, and it turned out beautifully. And these are designs by me for Theodore Alexander. So these are the Jamie Drake collection for Theodore Alexander, both the table and the chairs. And someday soon I will have a seated dinner. And of course the top is another place for me to arrange a grouping of collectibles and things that I love and have come across over the years, including this 3D printed piece from Cultured Object, this wonderful ceramic vase from Patim Osmanaj, who does incredible paintings that are look like crushed paper mountains, the glass snake by Rob Wynn, which I've owned for many, many years. Delightful things to look at and that have a conversation together. So as I mentioned, whimsy and wit are important to me in interiors. We all need to smile. And this is a fantastic piece by Jason Witcher. And it is kind of as if it's a disco ball crashed to the floor. The sneakers next to it are art pieces. I've never worn them. They were hand painted by a friend, Boris. And then towering here was another piece I bought specifically for this apartment before I ever closed. And it's an early work by Daniel Arsham. And you know, it's kind of a concrete column to go back to the elemental nature of what this neighborhood was. I came to New York straight out of high school to go to Parsons School of Design, which I proudly sit on the board of now, and I had a great, strong education. Of course, New York was the perfect finishing school for everything else I wanted to learn about life. And, you know, in the ensuing 44 years, it's 44 years now, and I've had my own business for 44 years, I've had the great pleasure of working on such a vast array of exciting and interesting projects. They've included a lot of different styles as well, since I lived through the height of the robber baron 80s, the steel Rothschild, more, marbleizing and everything striate and fauxed. And now we're in a much more modernist phase, and I enjoy change. Change to me is a very good thing. I find stagnation anathema. I've had the good fortune to work for a lot of very influential and exciting and dynamic people. One of the greatest good fortunes I have had in my career was to oversee the restoration, redecoration, and historic preservation of New York City's Gracie Mansion, the official mayoral residence, in 2002. And that was for the administration of Michael Bloomberg. And Mike, I consider a very, very great friend, and he's been a client of mine for 36, 37 years now. So Gracie Mansion hadn't been really substantially touched since the Koch administration, so that was 20 years before. And much of the really physical plant hadn't been attended to since the Lindsay administration in the 60s. None of the bathrooms had been redone since the 60s. So the house was rather sad. it needed some love, and it was an opportunity to not just give it love, but to really refresh it and bring it to a point of pride for all New Yorkers. And it really did become the people's house. Mike never spent a night in the house. He never lived in the house. He had the good fortune to have a Jamie Drake designed house 20 blocks away, and not even 20. And so he really opened the entire house to New Yorkers for events and for public tours, for school groups, for children. And it was a really exciting phase in the history of Gracie Mansion. So the second seating grouping in this marvelous giant room I have is what I think is the more kind of formal cocktail grouping. And it has this big L-shaped sofa covered in this beautiful white texture. 11 years, and the white is still good. Haven't had any major accidents. But it's nice because it's a little firmer and it's a little more upright, which is good for a conversational cocktail hour, rather than on the TV side where it's deeper and maybe you actually allow yourself to doze off. Another cocktail table I designed where the wonderful striato marble is laid in a parquet pattern. And yes, the color is here, and it comes out of pieces such as this beautiful painting by Jean Lau. That's Lau, L-O-W-E. But she is a wonderful artist whose original work that I knew for years was papier-mâché. And I never knew she was a painter. And then my dear friend Valerie McKenzie mounted a show at her gallery, McKenzie Fine Art, of her paintings. And I was so taken with this. And I borrowed this for the first Christmas party I was going to have to hide over an outlet that's back there. It was just the perfect size. And the only thing I was disappointed with is most of Jean's work from this series has a very lewd element in it. One of the little gnomes is either mooning you or doing something else. But I ended up keeping it because it's absolutely just perfect and it just suited me immediately. Hanging above the Jean Lau painting is one of my favorite pieces that I've had for a very long time. It is a sculpture by Michael Combs. And Michael Combs grew up as the son and grandson of master duck decoy carvers. And he took that in another direction. So this water box is not any dead animal under there. It is hand carved by him and then encased in this black leather zippered cover. And so it's a statement, I guess, on hunting and the lack of freedom of the animals that are hunted. Of course, it has a very sexual noir atmosphere to it. And I do enjoy it. And again, it's very provocative. You know, this arrangement of cushions and pillows are the beautiful accents that bring things together. And this one is one of my favorite ones. This is actually woven from peacock feathers. So I have this floor-to-ceiling bookcase here, and people ask, well, how do you read the book on the top shelf? Chances are I'm not going back to reread those books. The ones that I really want to access, I keep more at height level. But the wonderful thing about a bookshelf like this is not only is it a place to keep your library and the things that you've enjoyed reading and may want to reference again, but it's a wonderful way to arrange the stuff of life. And we all have stuff. Things maybe we bought on vacation that we bring back and think, oh, that looks so good in Tibet, but it doesn't look such high quality here. Or something that somebody gives you that's meaningful to you. This metal car back here was given to me by very dear friends for my 30th birthday. That's long ago. And what a wonderful place for it to be. And then these were given to me by another friend, Balik. I don't think I would ever buy Balik for myself, but the fact that it was given to me by a dear friend means something to me. And so it gives it a place where it all can be contained and arranged, and the various memories are there. In the powder room, it was delivered with these wonderful pyrolave walls and the countertop. All I did was ebonize this wood on the vanity, but I wrapped the walls and the ceiling with a beautiful custom colored wallpaper from the Alpha Workshops. It's called Newport, and then hung and displayed art in it. There's a series of 4 etchings by Francois Gillot of the 4 Seasons. And then perched on a bench is a painting that my mother did, and a very, very, very early drawing that I did in crayon that my mother had framed 60 years ago or so. So they talk to each other. So it's nice to have a flower in a powder room. This one happens to not be real. It is spectacular. It's a beautiful quality paper flower. It's not plastic or silk. I really like it, and it was given to me by a dear friend, so it puts a smile on my face. So now, this is my bedroom. This is the primary bedroom. And just as in the living room, I first had to do a little correction to some of the architectural elements, the construction elements. There was a singular beam that went from here over to there, down about 15 inches, and the whole room felt lopsided. Since the ceiling heights are so tall everywhere, I decided to drop the ceiling around the perimeter to keep a evenness, and then pop it up in the center to capture the full height. And there I put slats of peach-colored mirror to reflect life beautifully. This room had a challenge though, because it really didn't have a bed wall if I also wanted to store my clothes. So I floated the bed in the center of the room, and the headboard also contains a very large dresser for all my folded needs. I wrapped it in the striato marble, which connects to the cocktail table in the living room. And I chose to do it in this very, very, very dark gray, in a lacquered finish, high gloss. And I like a dark room to sleep in, but I like a dark room during the daytime too. This one is flooded with light, but I love its mystery and its romance, its sensuality. And I decided to accent it with this corally pink. And I think it's perfectly masculine. Many people would say pink for a man's bedroom, but I think it's very nice and I'm very happy in it. It's beautiful. It could be a flamingo. It could be a beautiful piece of Persian coral. I actually like to sleep on a stack of pillows. They have to be down in feather, but I do sleep with my 3 pillows. And they're accented with this wonderful bolster that was custom fabricated by Arabelle Taggart, and these beautiful satin pillows, a textured bed cover. It's not a fancy bed arrangement. It's comfortable. A fur throw with another throw layered on top of it. Great classic Cedric Hartman lamps, go up and down and twist, so they're perfect for reading, but beautiful atmospheric light. On the top of the dresser headboard, an arrangement again of objects that mean something to me. A painting I bought 1,000,000 years ago that has very celestial, great dreams, colorful dreams. A little sculpture, bronze sculpture of a frog by my friend Lindsay, who I met in high school. And she went on to go to Parsons at the same time I did. A sculpture my mother did at Yale Art School. This beautiful bust of a woman. And other gifts and things. Another friend made that. So the talismans of life, the things that give you memory, I think give me comfort. I love 3-dimensional wall pieces, sculptures that attach to a wall or a ceiling. And behind me here, by the artist Rooney Olson, I have a marvelous piece of squirrels climbing up the wall, and it is made out of masking tape and graphite, and it is appropriately titled, literally, squirrels. Opposite the bed, there's more storage. There's cabinets behind me, and then at the end, there are 2 tall floor-to-ceiling cabinets with mirrored doors that hold shoes, folded sweaters, jeans, things like that. And between them, there's the TV, so I can watch from bed, and underneath it, a desk. The desktop is where I keep my family pictures, my friend pictures. Here I've got my my maternal grandparents, my paternal grandparents, my late parents and brothers at their 40th anniversary party, dear friends from college, dear friends who I were in Ireland with, my mother and father at City Hall, and so keep them all together. The color in the bedroom, or what is the accent color, becomes the entire full color in the bathroom. The bathroom, once again, was as it was delivered, and it's gorgeous and with luxurious understated materials. The pyrolave wainscoting and countertop, the solid granite bathtub. So it's pretty chic and nice. I made it my own by, once again, ebonizing the vanity and the frame of the medicine cabinets and mirrors so that it wasn't this reddish cherry that just wasn't my kind of color. And then I enveloped the space, the upper walls and the ceiling, in beautiful polished Venetian plaster by the Alpha Workshops in this incredible coral color. And so it makes things glow. It makes it my own. I also hung wonderful art, a beautiful rondelle, this sequins and glitter on a white base, and this great three-dimensional Sputnik thing hanging up above it. One of the unique features of this building is its car elevators. So it has an elevator that brings each resident's car up to their own floor. Having your own parking space at your home is kind of a suburban adventure, isn't it? And so, just like in any suburban house, there's a back hallway, kind of a mudroom. There's laundry behind this door. There's housekeeping supplies, but I did make it my own with this fabulous wall covering from Trove that was digitally printed, these black birds flying everywhere. And it was a perfect place for me to hang these two paintings that I did as a teenager. And as we continue on, down the stairs we go. Painting by my mother hangs here in the back hall. I love it. I love it. She would kill me if she was still alive, but I put it in the back hall. And here we are in the elevator. I mean, in the garage, not the elevator yet. So to access the elevator, it will come up from the ground floor. It's a very interesting, it works very well, I have to say. And I absolutely did not buy this apartment because of this garage elevator feature, as sexy and unique as it is in New York City. But it certainly has proved to be a wonderful, wonderful convenience, especially on a pouring rain day or a heavy snowstorm where you actually don't even have to walk half a block away. So the elevator comes up and I would drive forward, get in, it would go down, and I would exit on the other direction. So my apartment was first published in Architectural Digest, and Margaret Russell was the editor-in-chief at the time and was very enthusiastic about that, except she said I had to do one thing before she would shoot it, which was to finish decorating and designing the garage. And so she gave me the reason that I went on to put this wonderful wallpaper, this mylar back, very striated wallpaper called Skyscraper from Dongia, a slat ceiling like a revisitation from the 70s that used to be in all sorts of malls and offices, a wonderful chandelier from Ralph Pucci, and then this cool purple awning over the door. Home to me is a retreat, is a nest, is a place of comfort, the place that you ultimately feel the most at home at.
Today on Homeworthy, we're bringing you to Birmingham, Alabama for a look inside the stunning and unique home of lifestyle and home decor blogger Danielle Yancey. Built in the 1960s, this one-of-a-kind home combines a European feel with modern touches, featuring graceful arches, towering ceilings, and expansive rooms. Inspired by the glamour of old Hollywood and the vibrant style of Palm Springs, Danielle has artfully incorporated these elements into her decor. She gives us a tour of the outdoor space, which is equally impressive, with a gorgeous pool and 2 circular courtyards, before heading down to her sensational wine cellar. Enjoy! You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. To shop items inspired by this and other Homeworthy episodes, be sure to check out the product links below for amazing furniture, accessories, and more.
Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Danielle Yancey, and welcome to my home in Birmingham, Alabama. Come on in. This home we've lived in for about 7 years, and this entryway was the spot when I first walked in this home and saw the reflection of the courtyard and the pool, and that's what just kind of took my heart. It was such a beautiful moment walking through this foyer, and we weren't really looking for a new home because we had built one about 4 years prior, and we're getting settled into the house. And we decided just to take a peek at this home because we had seen some pictures online and just walked in and just fell in love with it. So our foyer here actually also duplicates into our dining room. So for bigger events, we bring out tables and chairs and bring out this whole big setup for a dining party. And this dining room, it's so interesting because it's so open, and you have this view of the exterior of the house. So you have this gorgeous view of the courtyard and of the front area, and it's like nature coming in into view with your experience inside your home. And this marble table, I just decided to put a simple round table in here as an entry table, but it also transforms into our dining room table too. And the antique doors in the house, there's 3 sets of antique doors. One set is here at our front door. And these are from New Orleans. The original owner had purchased some beautiful antiques from New Orleans and incorporated them into this house. And these doors are original to the home. And I don't know what type of wood they are, but they are gilded with gold. Our home is definitely a mix of so many elements. So we have floor to ceiling windows, we have brick archways, we have antiques, we have very new, modern looking items in our home. So it's got a different mix of elements in our home. The architectural style, I wish I could actually meet the original architect of this house, Fritz Whaley, and just interview him about the home and where his mind was, because it was so just forward and ahead. This home has a mix of, I would say, a European, modern, esque elements to it because of all of the arches, and then you've got the modern floor to ceiling windows, and then there's also some traditional and antique elements that are so beautiful, like the chandelier. And so a lot of the lighting in this home is original to the home, and I've kept, you know, a lot of the pieces that were original to this home, and I've kind of updated and changed a few things and made some modernizing of the home. When I walked into this home, the first thing when I saw that pool and the courtyard and the windows, my heart immediately leapt to a Hollywood glam, a Palm Springs kind of feel to the home. And that's where my mind went as soon as I saw it. And I love mixing elements. I love mixing silver, I love mixing gold. I have this huge disco ball that I found, and when I saw it, it just made me want to add it into this home and mix that kind of like Hollywood glamour, Palm Springs style into the home. And that kind of started this whole addition of disco balls and modern glam, like the lacquered black furniture with the crystal knobs and hardware. And so I really wanted to incorporate a lot of gold and black because a set of antique doors that's in our living room really spoke to me and brought in that black element and gold element into the home. Every room is a little different, but it all kind of comes together. We have, I believe, 7 fireplaces in this home, and they are unbelievable. We have actually changed, I believe, every single fireplace. This is a see-through fireplace. It's a double fireplace. So there's one on this side and one on the other side in the living room. And we actually do turn on our fireplaces. You would be surprised in a home in Alabama how often we do use them, because especially on this side of the house, the original part of this house is built in 1963. And back in 1963, I am assuming, and I don't know, but the double paned glass was not put in on this original side of the house. So all of the glass on the original side is a 1 panel glass. So it gets really cold in the winter and then really warm in the summer. And we do have our heating and cooling system, but it works a lot. And it's nice to have that additional fireplace heat to walk in. Also here in our dining room foyer, we have some artwork. And this artwork is from a local artist as well as my dog, Trooper. So Trooper actually hand painted this artwork. And if you look closely, you'll see his paw prints all throughout the artwork. And this is his little toy that we had at the time, his little frog. And the artist this was actually for a charity, Hand and Paw, and it's an animal-assisted therapy program where animals will go into facilities and help those that may be anxious or scared, and this is just a therapy animal in different facilities in Birmingham. So this was for charity. He walked across it, put his paw prints in it. Then Beth Bradley, the local artist, also takes this and then finishes it with what she has in mind. So you don't really know what's gonna happen. You choose the colors, and then it's presented at the night of the event, which is super special. And so she decided to put a portrait of us because of the love we had. When I found him, he was a rescue on the side of the road, and he had really bad mange, so he had no hair and he was skin and bones, but he's brought back to life. He's here with us today, and we have a special bond from that night of finding each other on the side of the road. And so that's super special. I put it up front because I feel like it has this kind of grayish silver color that kind of matches up front. The other two pieces of artwork we have in the foyer is a local artist as well. I love the abstract look, and the black and the gold and the ivory just fits so well for this foyer, and kind of pulled that black and gold into this room too. All right, why don't I show y'all the living room? It's right off the foyer entryway, and it's also got the other side of the fireplace that connects to the foyer. And this fireplace is just the same. It's identical to the other side. It has the fireballs in it. And this beautiful marble mantle that's original to the house. This is also an antique that they had brought in. And that's another thing with the fireplaces. Every fireplace has this unique mantle or some type of setting to it. And so this is beautiful. I love how it incorporated this kind of soft, kind of floral, feminine look to the room, which made me want to include a lot of pinks and floral notes to this room as well, to make it a little more feminine but bring in some masculine too. But the doors that I spoke about, the antique doors, this is the set of doors that I just went after. And I was like, I really want to incorporate a lot of the black and gold through the house. And I just love these doors. They are just the hardware itself, the gold, the floral notes here, the bow just has a lot of feminine in here. I added this beautiful antique column here to hold this marble sculpture. And this marble sculpture, actually my dad did. So he sculpted this back in, I want to say he was probably in college still, but he was an art major in college at Auburn University, and he has a lot of artwork throughout our house. And another piece that's in this room that he did is this charcoal of this woman, and I've had all of his artwork framed and matted and added throughout the house. So this is one of his. So he did that in 1969, and it just makes it really special to have those pieces of his. And then the pink rug, I just felt like brings in that feminine note here, and it's just unique to the house. This is actually a faux orchid, although it does look so real. I do forget sometimes not to water it because it is not real. These velvet chairs are swivel chairs. They're made by Jonathan Adler. I think this is one of my favorite things in the house, these chairs. But I found that's one of the first things that I found when I was putting things together in the house. So every time I found something, it really helped bring things in my mind together and how to, what's the next step? What's the next thing to add? So my background is I was a buyer for Parisian, and I guess I was in the buying side of things for about 10 years. And then I went to contract work for some retailers. And then my next jump was into some interiors, doing some Christmas decorating. That led to some other decorating jobs. So I was kind of doing a lot of jobs, odd jobs here and there. I did some modeling jobs too, and that was so fun. And then when we built our home, my job was to decorate that home entirely. And so it just brought out my creative side. My dad's an artist. I didn't get quite all of those talents, but my talents are just on the creative side of just fashion and interiors. I just love putting together colors and textures, and it's been so much fun. When we found this house, my mind was going in 500 different directions because it's such a different type of home, and really not much from our other house made it to this house. It started here, but then it just kind of like started to dwindle off. I would sell some things here and there. And so everything just kind of like started to evolve here at this house in a whole different direction. This is just something that I have a passion for, and it's brought a lot of life to my blog, and I love to incorporate a lot of home and just interiors into my blog as well. Floor to ceiling windows, I believe, are 14 feet throughout this original part of the house. As you go through the rest of the house, they start increasing. But this side of the house, they're about 14 feet. And to bring in, there's just a lot of linear moments in this house with these arches that you see on the exterior that you see also in the interior. So I had to think about balancing all of this linear tall look. Here's one thing that did make it from our other house to this house. So these mirrors I did have in our other house. We did not have the height that we do in this house, but I added these mirrors here, and I feel like it helps balance some of the height in this room. And also this tree, I love plants and live things too, as well as faux, but this fiddly fig kind of brings some height to the corner of the room. I have this turquoise artwork with a black bird holding, it looks like mistletoe maybe, but my nephew, who's a senior in college now, he made that when he was like in elementary school and gave it to me, and I just love adding that little pop of blue in here with the pinks. So that kind of made me want to incorporate a few more touches of turquoise and blue through this room. So I added these Jonathan Adler throws and these pillows from a local artist, and then just a couple of glass turquoise finds, that glass turquoise vase, and then this glass turquoise ball over here, just to pop a little bit of a contrasting color in here to balance some of the ivory and pinks and golds. All right, well, let's go down the hallway and see some of the bedrooms that are original to the 1963 part of the house. This is the original primary suite of the house, built in 1963, and it is very high ceilings. Again, it's their 14-foot ceilings. There is a lot of fabric on the windows behind, and these are the original fabric panels, curtain panels that were on the windows, and I've loved having them in here. I loved the color, so that kind of like brought what color I wanted to bring into this room. It also faces the pool, so these doors open up to the pool, And so that also made me want to add blue into this room to kind of bring that blue pool water look into this room. This is the third set of the antique doors that are original to the house. And these are more cream and gold, and it has the same bow and floral features above it. And it's just, I love all the, even though they're not new and they're cracked and they need maybe some painting and trim work detailing, I just love that. I love that contrast of old and new in every room in this house. There is marble throughout this home on the floor, and it's all Alabama white marble. And throughout this original part of the home, it has more grays and gold veining throughout. And then as you make it through the newer part of the house, you're gonna see it transform into a little bit more pink. But this is such a beautiful, like the floors, everything that these floors have seen, I cannot imagine from the 60s till now, but these are their original floors as well. I brought in a lot of silvers as well as gold in this room to play off of those blues and just make it really serene. I have these Jonathan Adler chairs that have some black metal and then acrylic and then this turquoise velvet to soften it up, and also this acrylic and gold bench with velvet. And then I have the mirrored glass side tables as well as the lamps and a few mirrored pieces in here too. All right, coming off of the primary bedroom is the ensuite, and here is the bathroom. We've kind of updated a few things. We've got a new toilet in. We have this beautiful tub, and then this beautiful marble that was here from the beginning. We are going to renovate this bathroom soon and add a shower in here. So some things will become new in this bathroom. I added some Audrey canvases in here and just felt like the black and white just played off well with this black and white and silver theme. And I've got some really beautiful rose metal light fixtures and some accessories in here too to kind of bring in that silver and white. I added just a few components in here, accessories to kind of like add some glam, modern glam. I added this rug that has this geometric like silver and ivory look. I added this ball that's on top of this marble that's actually these metal roses. And I just thought that would bring in a little bit of feminine look to the bathroom and bring in also that silver and then just some modern glam that kind of plays off of the Audreys to bring in. Since this primary bedroom is original to home, the owner of the home, she was here. She created this home. It was her home. So I wanted to bring in some more feminine elements to this home because it was a female owner of this house that built it. And so I really loved bringing in some of those elements and some feminine touches to this bathroom. So here is our kitchen. I think this kitchen was renovated in '95 when they added on to the house, and it's expanded. It's actually so interesting. Half of this kitchen used to be like a little entertaining card room, library, little reading room. So they opened it up and created this really large kitchen, and I really love how open it is. You'll notice that the ceilings in here are the lowest ceilings in the house. And so the ceilings are low because above us there's actually a bedroom and also some attic space up there for the air conditioning units and all the electrical. So it's definitely, when I walked in the first time I saw this kitchen, I was like, wow, why is the kitchen so low? But now it kind of makes it cozy and I like it, especially in the winter. I feel like it really gets warmer in the kitchen and it's nice, but it's definitely a cozier place in this house. They had a lot of professional appliances put in, so that was really nice. We have a large amount of room in our refrigerator and freezer. We have a big range, very much an entertaining space. So this home has been used for many different parties since we've lived here, and I know before us they entertained quite a bit. So it does make for an easy flow and an easy way to entertain. When I walked into the kitchen, I really wanted to find a table that spoke to this room and kind of helped kind of bring some modern look to it. And I love this lacquered table, this oval tulip shaped base, and it just adds a new shape into this house. And I love the tulip shaped chairs and the white lacquer on it. I like to keep things pretty clean in here. We have a lot of mirrors on our wall. We're actually going to do a renovation on this kitchen and a couple of other bathrooms and bedrooms in the house and finalize our renovations, because we've kind of been renovating here and there since we've moved in. And so the mirrors will no longer be in the house after we finish our renovation. So it's gonna really change the look of this room. The one thing when I moved into this house, and as I lived in it and cooked and spent some time in the kitchen, I really couldn't see the pool. And I love this fireplace so much. This is original mantelpiece from New Orleans. It's antique and it's hand carved wood. It's a beautiful mirror that matches. We will find a new home for this because we are planning on taking this wall out and the chimney and the fireplace out so that you can see that beautiful pool. It's the view. I think just seeing it just makes you happy, but just being able to see outside is so fun. But this, I'm so sad, will not be staying with the house once we finish the renovation. I decided to frame this cute little letter that we received, I guess it was July 26th of last year, 23. We were left this letter. We actually rented our home, and we don't ever rent our home, but we were approached last year to rent our home to a special guest in Birmingham. And he left us this letter, he and his wife, thanking us of opening our home while they were in Birmingham. And we moved out and they moved in and they stayed here for 2 to 3 months, but it was Matthew McConaughey and his whole family. And we just cherish this note that they left us. So we were still in Park City when they left the note, and our real estate agent that approached me, he was the one that approached me to rent our home. He was like, would you want to rent your home for a A-list celebrity? And I was like, I don't know. What is going on? I thought it was a joke at first. And so he came over to visit and we talked about it, and it just started developing. I was like, well, we're actually not gonna be here this summer. We're gonna be in Park City. It could work out. We've got to finish up some things with a renovation we had been doing last year, and it was a lot at once, and we were like approached very last minute. They had looked at like 50 homes in Birmingham, and so we were one of the last ones on the tour of homes, and it was just a lot going on for a month before we got approached and moved out. But it worked out, and it was just crazy. I still can't believe it happened because we weren't even here. So it was like we handed our keys over, left, and then came back and everything was just the same. So we were like, did it happen? But we heard all about Birmingham and all the excitement in Birmingham, and how they had, you know, the McConaughey spottings everywhere. And so we were like, we think it happened. But when they left the note, our real estate agent came over to like check everything, and we were still in Park City, and he sent me a picture, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. He left us a note. So we'll keep that forever and keep it framed. So these are our pantry doors on each side of the banquette. That side kind of houses more of the china, the plates, all of the fun decor and placemats. This side we keep all of the food in. However, we're gonna lose this pantry during the renovation, and we're gonna create a new set of stairs to the upstairs bedroom. Right now the stairs are very steep, they're not Deco'd, so we're gonna create an easier way to get upstairs and actually be able to use the space and have guests there. And this is actually the cutest little nook. It's this hidden door that houses like some cleaning and a trash can, but I love that hidden door. Like hidden doors, there's a few hidden doors throughout the house. It just kind of is very sleek and you might not even see it. In fact, the door that goes to the bedroom upstairs, we looked at this house 3 different times before just really deciding on, okay, yes, let's do this. The 3rd time we looked at the house, I was like, what does that door go to? And we didn't even know about the bedroom that was upstairs. So that was kind of a surprise addition the 3rd time we looked at this house. Let's go take a peek outside and show you the pool, the patio, and more. All right, so we are outside in our courtyard, and this is one of our favorite places to be and like to hang out outside. Our dog loves coming out here to hang out in the grass and on the concrete by the pool. He's like a pool lounger out here. And so we have a lot of different spaces to enjoy and just relax out here or entertain. Our pool is so unique because it is a square. And we have these beautiful round dish type planters. They're huge planters out here by the pool. So they're on each corner of the pool. This is all original to the house. The white rocks, the planters, the square pool. And we did do some renovation work to the pool just this spring. So we had all of the decking repainted, and we had the pool cleaned, and we added new tile to the pool to freshen it up. It needed it. And so it's just got this now fresh, clean look. It's so nice to come out and enjoy the pool. The courtyard also has an upper and a lower courtyard area. The lower courtyard area is original to the house, and you can see that it has this circular shape to the grass and the brick around the grass, and then it has a half moon shape beyond that on the far wall. And this grass, it's so thick and so healthy. I love it. There in the center of the grass, it has this beautiful marble urn, and I added the concrete balls to the urn to match back to the marble. To match back to the fireballs in the house. But on this marble urn, you'll see this Greek key detailing. And I just love that Greek key detailing on the urn. And I also love the Greek key detailing on the iron gates that are original to the house. These gates are antique, and I just love that detailing. So there's 4 sets of these gates. And that Greek key also I've incorporated through the house, and you'll see just little touches of Greek key here and there, and it's all because of those from the outside. This lower courtyard, these are camellia hedges on each side of the wall. The camellia hedges had a really bad freeze 2 winters ago. We're still coming back from that hard freeze on this side of the whole wall, the boxwoods, everything. Got these beautiful roses growing along the lattice work back here behind this statue. The statue reminded me of one of my dogs, Sweet Pea, who's passed. And so I put this statue back here with the roses because she's such a beautiful little girl. I wanted her to have roses behind her. And so this lower courtyard also has these boxwoods that have been here for years, probably since the 60s. These hydrangeas that have just exploded. They're just now coming off their bloom, so they're more of an antique bloom right now towards the end of the summer. And then also there's roses on each side of the wall that bloom, and it's just a beautiful garden. It's very, very has a very serene look. You get to see the hawks. We have deer in the back. We've seen fox before. We have coyotes. Feel like we have a wildlife National Geographic back here sometimes. But we love seeing the deer come up behind our house and all of the wildlife. And so our pool house is right here off of the pool, and we have 2 bedrooms and a living room in the pool house. And this is the pool house living room. It has a lot more fun vibe in here, a lot more relaxing, more like a gaming area, entertaining area for kids or for my husband watching football on Saturdays. There is definitely a Hollywood glam vibe in here, and brought and incorporated a little bit of more blues in here because of the pool and some watery features. I love this Slim Aaron's artwork on the wall. It just screams to me Palm Springs and take me there now. But I just love how the ladies are sitting by the pool having their cocktails and enjoying company together, and I just love that whole look and that whole vibe. So I definitely wanted to incorporate that in the pool house. And there's a lot of mixture of elements in this pool house. There's acrylic, there's gold, there's velvet, there are pinks, blues, just yellows, and all kinds of Hollywood glam. There's white lacquer in here with some geometric shapes. I added the fireballs in the fireplace with this glass fire screen, and this is an original mantelpiece also with the marble and the engraved roses. And I added Jonathan Adler light fixtures in here with these beautiful blue globo sconces and the chandelier, just mixture of all kinds of elements and color, and just wanted a really fun vibe in here. And I have some plants, some live plants, and then some faux plants in here too. And this table, I know Matthew McConaughey did a few news hits at this table because of the artwork behind him. So that was kind of fun to see on TV. But my husband did, he's been working out here in the pool house some, so he uses this sort of as his office sometimes. And this bedroom, so this whole area was renovated recently. So this bedroom had a concrete flooring. We added the marble floor into the bedroom, just really updated it, cleaned it up. Had a carpet originally, so we took the carpet out, added the marble tile, and just made it, added a new light fixture, just kind of gave it a new vibe, clean space in here. And the bathroom was updated. We have a new shower in there, and we updated the closet and the vanity as well. All right, let's head back outside. I have more courtyard to show you. And this is our upper courtyard, and this also was not here previous to 95. So in 95, when they added the side of the house to the original of the 1963 house, this was all woods up to the windows. So they cleared this area and kind of mimicked, and they added this circular pattern up here that is symmetrical to the lower courtyard area. So there's the circular brick walkway and the circular grass. The beautiful antique doors to the living room open up to this upper courtyard. And they added these circular brick openings and for these 2 beautiful Japanese magnolia trees. This is just such a spectacular piece to the house. When you're walking through the house, you'll see this tree, and both of the trees really on each side when you're walking through the house. And this side is especially spectacular. This is our bathroom on this side, so you really don't see it as much unless you're living in that space. This is our covered patio, and I love sitting out here watching TV, eating dinner, having a glass of wine. It's just very relaxing. It's super enjoyable during the fall season, and looking forward to that, sitting out here a lot more when it cools down. But this upper courtyard, I love all the ferns, and there's maidenhair ferns. There's just all of these different types of ferns that are growing throughout this little area and these little corner nooks. So we're going into the bar, and this is transitioning into the part of the house that was built in 1995, and this is a special part of the house. There is a tile here set in marble, and it's engraved with the year 1963 and 1995. 1963 is on this side of the house, and 1995 is this way. So I love that. That's just a special part of the house. This is the hallway to the bar. I decided to add all of my dad's artwork on this wall and have this collage of everything that he did. And it shows the years. There's some in 1969, 70, and 71. But they're all, what's so interesting is fashion inspired. And that's what I ended up being my major, was fashion merchandising. So I loved having that. This bar, it's almost like a second kitchen, but it is very nice to have. This bar is perfect for entertaining. So just getting back here, it's nice to have friends over or a party and have this whole bar just devoted to beverages. And so we have a beverage center back here, some dishwashers back here. We also have really unique shaped sofa. It's a curved green velvet sofa. We have a curved lamp over it. A lot of black accessories in this room. So I found this black and white rug with geometric shapes, and this black lacquered console table, and then some other black accessories. This marble round table and velvet chairs, it's like a little gaming table or just a table to have some calls or coffee. But it's just a beautiful view to the courtyard and this tree. So this tree is behind that circular brick wall that's in the courtyard. And this tree is just so spectacular. And it's actually growing into the brick. One of the limbs is actually growing into the brick up here. So I thought that was so neat. The ceiling height in here starts to get higher. So it'll get higher in our living room next to this room. And so there's a lot of height here. I added light fixtures in here. I added sconces and this light fixture just to add some element to the height of this room and bring your eye up. So the other art piece that our dogs did is up on this wall. So our two dogs, Sweet Pea and Willie, that are no longer with us, and they are in heaven, but they did this painting with hand and paw as well. Their paw prints are all in it, and an artist finished out this artwork locally too. So that was their artwork, and I'm so thankful to have that and their paw prints. And now we're going into our living room space. And this living room space is so bright, it has so much light in here too. This is facing our courtyard and the pool across the way. And I decided to add a lot of blues in here and incorporate some pops of color to bring in that Hollywood glam and just a really fun vibe. This is where we spend the majority of our time watching TV and hanging out. So I have this really fun geometric pattern rug and then some patterned pillows that go with this velvet blue sectional. This has a lot of room to seat a lot of people, or just us three laying on the sofas, Trooper, me, and Bart. So we all have our space to lay and be able to watch a movie or a show. And this artwork above the TV is super special to me. It's my favorite, I think, in the whole entire house. This artwork is of Sweet Pea, of Willie, and Trooper. So Willie was probably around 14 when we did this, and I really wanted an artwork that had incorporated all three of their paw prints in the artwork. So their paw prints are all in the artwork. They each got to pick a color and walk across the canvas. And then John Little, a local artist, finished off the artwork, and he decided to do a portrait of all three of them together with this lots of color. I just said, go for color. I would love pink. And I love that he chose the pink clouds. So that's super special to me. I also have added a lot of balloon dogs in here. And since I love dogs and they're very special to me, I decided that would be a fun pop art type of thing to add to this space. So there's a lot of balloon dogs in all different colors. It kind of incorporates all the colors in this room. I have a lot of acrylic, a lot of glass, a lot of silver and gold. I just keep mixing all of the elements throughout the house just to kind of let it play off of each other and not focus on one. This fireplace has very, very tall columns, and it is original to the house, and I did change out the fireplace to fireballs. Let's go downstairs. I'm saving the best for last, and I'm going to show you something really special. So I said this house was built for entertaining, and here's proof of definitely the entertaining spot of the house. The best for last, here's the wine cellar. This was here when we moved into the house. We did renovate it last year, and we updated a lot of different things, the racking and some marble tops on the counter in here. But this space has really opened up for entertaining and enjoying. I added some sofas down here, some tables so we can actually sit here. And it's really cold down here, so it feels really good during the summer. So come on in, I'm gonna show you the wine cellar. So here is our wine cellar, and this has been such a fun space, especially since we've kind of updated it. We updated the system, the racking, this countertop. And this wine cellar, we're just starting to add to it. So it looks a little empty right now. It looks a little sad, but we're gonna keep adding to it. Right now, I think the racking probably holds, we probably could hold thousands of bottles in here. It's a really big wine cellar. And this space was here when we moved in, so we have just kind of opened it up and renovated it a little bit. It had black racking before. We have this gold racking and this white countertop space, and I feel like it leans more towards what I had envisioned for the house and this Palm Springs look, so it kind of modernizes it a little bit. And I kept all of the wood elements in here the same, so all of that is original, and it just has a beautiful space now. It's lightened up, and I love that they incorporated originally these arches in here in the windows and the arched doors and the arches on the back wall to go back with the architecture of the house, with the arches on the front and the brick archway in the courtyard. And so I love that they incorporated and kept that architecture down here as well. Has just a lot of European feel too. So this room is one of our favorites, and we've enjoyed it, and we're enjoying adding to it. So home means comfort to me, and family and entertaining here at this house. Homeworthy, it's been an honor and so amazing to have you here today. Until next time, bye-bye.
Hi Homeworthy, I'm Hollis Loudon. Welcome to my apartment in Dumbo in Brooklyn, New York. Come on in. Hi, I'm Hollis Loudon. I am a luxury maximalist interior designer and I guess you could say lifestyle influencer, and we're here in my apartment in Dumbo in Brooklyn, New York. So the funny story about this apartment is quite a few months ago, I signed to do a special with Amazon and I was living in Florida and I had nowhere to live. I saw this apartment online, it had listed that day, and without ever coming to see it, as an interior designer, I sent them the deposit and I said, take it off the market. So I actually never walked into this apartment until 2 months after I leased it on the very first day that I was moving in. So I had actually never walked into this apartment, and I wouldn't suggest that to anyone. I just lucked out and had a beautiful apartment. But yeah, I saw the photos and I saw the vision and I said, why not? The only thing I didn't realize is that there's absolutely no closet space, but I like to display my things, so you'll see that throughout. But yeah, this was a very serendipitous moment for me. It worked out perfectly. Welcome to my kitchen where I spend absolutely no time. So when I was choosing my apartment, as I said, I did not ever come and see it in person. One of my big things was that I wanted a really beautiful kitchen. And normally I'm not a fan of open concept kitchens because of the fact that I really like to have them kind of like sequestered off on their own. Mainly because I don't use them and therefore I don't like to clean them. But when it came down to this, I really wanted white cabinetry. So this is kind of like a very modern, again, I didn't pick these finishes, but I'm very happy with what they are. But more than anything, what I really like in this kitchen is what I'll show you right now, which I swear I manifested this, and that is a Miele dishwasher, which right now is full because Homeworthy was coming, so everything got thrown into the dishwasher. It's clean. But I have a dishwasher, but even bigger than that, I have a garbage disposal. And I don't know, again, if you're someone who lives in New York, grew up in New York, when I tell people I have a garbage disposal, this is something that blows their mind. I have friends who live in the bougiest buildings and they do not have garbage disposals. So I only utilize this garbage disposal for my leftovers from my DoorDash and also when I'm doing my florals because I want to break the stems down. So it doesn't really get a lot of use, nor does my range, but this was huge for me. But really, I wanted to make it aesthetically pleasing in here. So I always have out, I did have a shoot yesterday, but I love to always have out some of my china because you never know, like even if I'm going to be eating my leftovers, I always plate them. I'm someone who's big about taking out of a container just because it's, why not live beautifully? So I have my malachite kind of dishes here. This was actually a painting from my father from so long ago, and it's of the plaza, and it means even more, and I have it out because I did the New York Botanical Garden orchid dinner 2 years ago at the Plaza Hotel with one of my favorite clients, Jen, and it was such an amazing experience. So this oil painting is original, it's from him. All of my cookware, which has never been used. Here I have this like little adorable, again, this has come with me from apartment to apartment. So this is one thing too, where there's vestiges of other apartments and other homes in this home. And that's something when I spoke about creating home is taking things with you. So this tea kettle has been with me since my very first apartment. I've had multiple apartments. Technically my first apartment was in Malibu, but my second apartment when I moved out of my family's New York City apartment was into a small studio, and my mom got me this, and it is now back in what may be my last apartment by myself. So I love this. And then yeah, I have my fridge. I put a mirror in here because of the fact that I kind of wanted to create the illusion of a bigger space, but even more so, I really needed a space other than my elevator to check my look. And I don't do OOTD, even though I really should, because people seem to be making a lot of money on that. But I'm usually throwing myself together as I'm walking out the door. If I wasn't having guests, you guys, today, I definitely would not look like this. I put this mirror, it's from Wayfair, and it pulls together kind of the different greens, and it's actually a leaning mirror, and I had him take off the back, my amazing handyman Carl, and I put some eye hooks in the back and I had it mounted. So that's here, and I like it because I can check myself on the way out the door, and even if I don't like it, I'm usually running late and I still run out the door. So it doesn't really do much other than reassure me of, you know, if I have two of the right shoes on. So, you know, the other things, like, again, I had to do some things to add interest. Throughout the entire apartment, again, there's some original pieces of art, but the majority of the art in my apartment is from Minted, and Minted's absolutely spectacular. A lot of people know Minted as an e-commerce site where you can get Christmas cards, and they do the most amazing Christmas cards. But what they've really moved into, and you should not sleep on, is art in home accessories. So in terms of art, they work with tons of independent artists from all around the world, and they do different commissions, and you can choose the medium of what it's printed on. So this is printed on canvas. You know, you can also do it on acrylic. You can do, throughout this apartment, you'll see, you know, you can do it on paper and have it framed, but they have a variety of different framing, methods as well. So this I had, you know, this is a canvas that's floated, and I have a wood frame around it. So it's like a stretch canvas, almost like, you know, that's been stretched and placed in a strainer. So that's something I love. And this piece, it has an Albert's vibe to it. You know, it's very geometric, and I have similar pieces throughout the apartment, but I really needed something very large to go here scale-wise, and this was the absolute perfect piece. And I really work off of signature, you know, fabrics. I'll pick something, I call it my trophy fabric or my trophy painting, and I design a room around it. So I'll show you in the living room when we get over there, the living room, which is like quite literally one step over. But there is a beautiful painting that I actually designed this entire space from. You know, it's obviously an open concept space of kind of entry, kitchen, and living room. So this paired perfectly with it, and it makes an impact, and that's something I wanted when someone walks in the door. And then, of course, I am celiac, but I like to always have something for my guests. So we have croissants for you guys here at Homeworthy. They're from a great bakery here in Brooklyn, and this is a cake stand from Pencil and Paper Co. Jen Soar did a collaboration with Mackenzie Childs, and everyone knows the iconic Mackenzie Childs check, but like my tea kettle on the stove and like this, they have so many different other things, and I just thought it was absolutely adorable. So I don't even know if you can still get this. I actually wasn't able to get it on the site. I got it through Amazon, but it has this fluted edge. Again, the green and the blue. I try not to be matchy-matchy. It just works out that way. And then, of course, I always have a candle lit in the kitchen, because when you come in, you're not gonna smell food ever unless I'm reheating something. And so I have this amazing red currant candle from Votivo, and it comes in this tortoiseshell. This is my go-to gift for literally anyone, for any, you know, they say a candle warms the home. So it's a great gift if you're going to someone's house for like a housewarming gift. So it's in this tortoiseshell, and it just makes such an impact, because really I also need to burn it because, you know, you're not gonna smell anything else other than, you know, maybe some cleaning products. But yeah, don't spend a lot of time in here, but I want to make it as beautiful as possible. So right when I walk in the door, I'm someone who likes to throw their bag down. Normally I'm schlepping like 4 or 5 different totes. So I put this acrylic console here, and this is like the best find ever. So this is so sturdy. It has the 3 tiers on it, and this is from Amazon. And it comes in several different colors, and it comes in this smoky green and orange. I know there's a clear one. So this, maybe was $200, and it was amazing because I needed something here. I have this really cute valet tray. If you watch my Homeworthy Upstate, you know I have like this obsession with elephants. So I have my valet tray. I always throw my keys, my card case. I usually throw my jewelry off here. I have my jewelry case below. I have, you know, 2 of my bags. I'm constantly switching. I always have a huge tote, but then I'm usually switching my bag like 4 or 5 times. So if it's not here, it's not coming with me. I have my sunglasses, these beautiful flowers. I had a shoot yesterday at the apartment, and what I love about these florals is like they pull in the pink, and there's little spots of pink throughout the apartment. So just a note to self for anyone out there experimenting with florals, you can do any color you want. It's actually fun to do something with a little bit of tension that isn't so derivative and expected. And this piece is also above from Minted. So it is printed on paper and then it's floated. So as you can see, it's placed on top, it's not matted on top. And I varied the framing throughout. So in the kitchen, I did, a canvas that was floated in wood, and this is, a piece that's floated in glass, and I did a black frame. So this is definitely like my catch-all area. I have some design books, plant, and it usually doesn't look as tidy as this, but definitely when you're designing your home, especially if you're in an apartment, you need that one station to put everything. Otherwise you will lose it and you will get locked out. And thankfully we have doormen here, but still, they don't like it when you lock yourself out all the time. So keys always go here. These chairs are the most hysterical stories. So it's like the sisterhood of the traveling pants. I don't know if I'm gonna date myself. I don't know with Homeworthy people have seen that, but it was this Blake Lively film with a bunch of other people where girls all wore the same pair of pants and somehow they fit. And these stools are vintage and they were bought for one of my very first client, a good friend of mine, Meg, her apartment here in Manhattan. They fit in her apartment. What happened after that is one of my great friends and now accountant, Ariel, subleased their apartment and she took these counter stools and they fit perfectly and I assisted with that. Then she just moved to a new apartment in Brooklyn, a little bit far away from mine, and she had them, but for once they did not fit, but they fit perfectly here. So in a very full circle moment, these vintage counter stools we actually never reupholstered them. This is just like a happy accident that it's always worked in every apartment. I have this green velvet on it. It's lucite and rattan, and they're the coolest thing. But when I was designing this apartment and I realized I finally had an open concept kitchen where I would have a counter, I thought to myself, I was like, these are just gonna work. So it's the funniest thing because they've worked in every space. This is the third space, and very unintentionally. And the bar stools going into my client and friends, Ariel's, are beautiful too, but these were absolutely perfect, and I love just the upholstery on them. I would never reupholster them. They've never been reupholstered in any home they've been in. So they will definitely go to my next home as they are now. With regards to the design of this apartment, it is incredibly different from what I've done upstate. And I'm not gonna say that in terms of the aesthetic. I've always been known for pattern on pattern and pattern and color and just a really fun mix. However, unlike my family's home upstate, which had, again, I had full reign over and we owned the place, this is a lease. And so I also knew that it would be somewhat temporary. I didn't want to treat it as if I was going to be transient, but I do travel a lot for my job. And I was a lot more budget conscious. I don't really like the word budget, but let's just say I was a little more strategic about where I deployed my financial resources. Like I really wanted to wallpaper. I couldn't wallpaper this entire space. There's different hardwiring of lighting. So I really tried to mix really high-end pieces with much more affordable pieces, because I think that's kind of the life that we're all living in, especially with so many people, I'm 32, that are not homeowners. And, if you all do have a second home, just really figuring out, where do you want to spend and where do you want to splurge? And even if you have all the money in the world, figuring out kind of what is the best way to spend. So it's definitely different, because I will say I spared no expense upstate. I'm not gonna lie about that to anyone, any of you or my clients. I treated that like my forever home, because it will be. So now we're in the living room. Again, like hop, skip, and a jump from my kitchen. And my dog Millie is sleeping on set. But this room, as I referenced in the kitchen, I work, in terms of my design, I work from a trophy piece. So whether it's a trophy fabric or a trophy rug or trophy wallpaper, by trophy what I mean is it is our inspiration. So this piece above the sofa, so this, I knew above the sofa I needed a really large scale piece. So when I found this, I knew perfect scale, I loved it. And the colors were absolutely amazing. So everything in the kitchen and in this living area was derived from this one piece. So you'll see there's, peaches, pinks, greens, blues, browns, blacks, yellows. So that is what I worked off of completely. So again, a little bit of a different vibe, a lot more movement than, you know, the geometric piece in the kitchen, but that's where I derived everything. So the sofa, as I said, invest in a really great sofa. So I got this sofa off of Kayo, and rest in peace, Kayo. Come back, people want you. Your ads were all over the subway, and I thought you were a scam until I found out how amazing you were, and now you're not around anymore. So I got this sofa. It's a Baker sofa. I got it off of Kayo, I think for like $900, and I had my upholsterer redo it in these two beautiful Anna Elizabeth fabrics. So Anna Elizabeth is a female-owned fabric house. I don't know, again, some people are familiar with it if you're within the industry, perhaps not, but amazing fabric company. And I did two different fabrics in a different welting. So something I like to do is do contrasting fabrics on the same piece. So here you'll see I did a houndstooth in blue, and then on the box of the sofa, I did the same houndstooth in green. So like the blue and the green from the trophy painting, and then I had it welted in this Countin and Tao, peach color. So you'll see that throughout, all along the edge. You know, the full body of the sofa is this green houndstooth, but the faces of the cushions are the blue. So that was something that was really fun. I did that to add interest. And I continued to pick up all the colors, you know, from the painting and everything else that I did here. So I took these botanical prints that I had in our home, not our home upstate, but, you know, my family's home prior to the house that I showed on Homeworthy. We had a suite of these. And so I took these and I framed out the piece here, and I got the most amazing cordless sconces from Pookie. So Pookie Lights, it's this UK-based company. They're now here in the United States. As I mentioned, you know, when you're in a lease or a rental, you're gonna wanna do stuff that's friendly. You're not gonna wanna hard wire. So these are cordless sconces that are remote controlled, and they come with a special bulb. So each of these, you know, there's no wiring behind this. It comes with this beautiful remote, a rechargeable USB-C lamp, light bulb. And then these shades are from their newest collaboration with GP&J Baker, which is under the Cravat Fabric House. So these two sconces, they totally make this space. I always love sconces above a sofa. I wanted to have variations in terms of light. I have track overhead lighting, I have lamps, but they were perfection, and they're known for tons of different cordless pieces in addition to this cordless lamp right here. This is also a Pookie piece. This is one of their signature shades, but this artichoke lamp is also cordless. So I can put this anywhere. I can put it on my counter to have like a little dining action. I can use them on my table. So the art definitely makes the space. These two tea cabinets on either side were heirlooms that I brought down. So definitely wanted to mix in some old and new. I didn't want everything in here to be new. A lot of the art is new, a lot of the light fixtures, you know, sofa, etc. Old but new again. So these were antique tea cabinets. These lights, I always love gourd lights. You know, Christopher Spitzmiller does gorgeous gourd lights. These are not Christopher Spitzmiller, but these are Safavi, and I got them also off Amazon, as well as these pink lampshades, which I love so much. I did them, you'll see, in my bedroom and in here. So pulled the pink in here. My rug, I love a sisal rug. I really do. I don't love it as much now that I have a dog, but this rug is from Rush House. And what's amazing about it is each tile, after you get past the standard size, can be sewn on. So if one is ruined, you can also take it off, cut around it, and sew on another. So you can customize the size of your sisal. They have all different patterns, but I like that there was interest to this, variation in color. It wasn't just your average sisal. And I actually do know someone who buys the tiles and uses them as placemats. So that's a cool hack if you want to think about looking at Rush House. So this coffee table, it has kind of a Ming look to it. It's curved, it's red. This is from Wayfair. So again, another Wayfair find. Wayfair and Amazon were my secret weapons when I was outfitting this apartment, along with Kayo, rest in peace. So this is a beautiful table, amazing price point. I think it really makes the space. I got this acrylic book stand. I love to display books, and this book is Schumacher, S is for Style by Dara Caponegro. I actually went to a dinner and was given the book, so it's very special to me that I have that. So I have it on an acrylic book stand that I also got off of Amazon. It's not truly acrylic, it's plastic, but it does the job. And another piece from Kayo, this fun kind of ottoman that I use as a stool, kind of secondary seating, and always nice to have something to display. And then over here is my moment. So in my home, upstate that I did with Homeworthy, I had a mini chair in my living room. And Mario Buada, the Prince of Chintz, is known for doing mini chairs. So obviously a French mini chair or a slipper chair really wasn't gonna work here. But I found this mini Panton chair, and it's in this perfect aqua. I don't have any children. I do have a niece and a nephew, but it was perfect to put books on. So it's a very iconic chair, and it's something that when I saw it, I knew I had to have it. It serves absolutely no purpose other than looking adorable and cute, but I love it. I have some of my books here, a little bit of objet, but that's my ode to Mara Buada. I have my mini chair, which sadly I cannot use. Actually, I can fit in it. I'm not going to show anyone that, but I can fit in that chair. But I did want to have dining chairs in my space. So I do have my Sisterhood of the Traveling Chairs over there, counter stools, but I wanted to have a small bistro table with 2 chairs so that my boyfriend and I could sit down and eat, or I could work and I could stare at the bridge, which is a fantastic view. So I took these 2 chairs also from my home upstate. We had 2 extra. So they normally have cushions on them. I had them in my front hall. I brought them down, and the yellow just worked perfectly. So again, if you're outfitting an apartment or a space, look at what you already have before you start buying new. I feel like that's something that a lot of people do, is they don't take into account what they already own, how they could repurpose something. It's not just that it's financially responsible to do, but it's also sustainable, to look at what you have and what you can repurpose. And of course, there are things that I buy that are cheap and maybe are not gonna last to my next apartment. And by cheap, I mean less expensive, but these chairs were beautiful, and I wanted just a quick little bistro table. So Amazon Prime Day hit me hard, and I got this bistro table from Amazon, and it was $100. So if I lift this up, you'll see it kind of has a tulip table-like look, which is very iconic. Like, go to Design Within Reach and you'll find one. But it's just a plain table, and I covered it in this Suzani that was on clearance at Pottery Barn for like $60. And I fell in love with it. And again, it's one of those things I wouldn't have thought to look there, but they do have beautiful tabletops. So it's not just furniture that they have. I was very surprised. It has this beautiful crewel work to it, which parlays and kind of picks up on a chair I'll show you in a moment. But I have my little topiaries that are from the Floral District here in Manhattan, which is right by where I went to college at FIT. So that is open to the public, certain hours. You have to get up really early, like really early. I'm a toxic morning person. So like 5 a.m. until 12, but you can purchase these topiaries. You just cannot kill them. Do not overwater them. And when you do water them, put them in the sink because they need to drain out. So note. And then behind here, I have the sister piece at a smaller size, but same style framing from Minted as to the piece in my kitchen. So it has the pink in it, it has the green, it has the brown. The 2 of them are, right kind of across from each other in the space. They tie together scale-wise. This definitely fits better, but it brings all of the colors together. And I like to kind of, marry different motifs and have things not match, but play together well. So this is very fun piece, Albert's-like vibe. And I just wanted to do a lot of art on the walls because of the fact that I didn't want to paint. I'm someone who, when I first got this apartment, again, didn't walk in until the very first day I got here. But I always said if I had to live in a white box, I'd probably go insane. But if I had to do it, I had to do it with a lot of art on the wall. So that's why kind of every inch I've tried to cover in something, obviously thoughtfully. Don't just put something up to put it up. But these 2 pieces here are framed in acrylic, and these are also from Minted. They're almost glass-like. And what I like is that you can see them when you come in the front door. They're super fun and, again, a little bit more abstract. Then of course I have my TV because I'm a human. I am. Like I should have unplugged it and pretended that it was like something else. But I also, for this, I wasn't gonna splurge on the frame TV. I think they're on super sale now. They used to be so expensive. But I don't really turn my TV on that often that I really feel the need to have it. But I did need one. I'm not someone who can live without. And here I have, this is also a Wayfair find. And actually, funny enough, I was shooting this apartment yesterday and I sent my sister a photo of this apartment, particularly of this piece, which is kind of a credenza. And she asked me which of our relatives gave it to me because she thought it was an heirloom. And she was a little miffed, thinking that I got something that she didn't. And then I had to tell her it was from Wayfair. And then she asked for the link. So I have to say this piece is amazing. It comes in a lighter burl wood. For here, I wanted a darker piece in contrast with the light floors. But it's awesome. It's an awesome piece. And, you know, if I were to want to zhuzh it up a little, I would definitely change the hardware on it, but I actually like that it looks a little bit more, quote unquote, antique. And then I have, you know, some candlesticks, this tortoiseshell bowl that I found, God knows where, with some oranges, very decorative. And then last but not least, I have this little moment here, which is kind of like my evil villain chair. And I love it. It has kind of an egg shape to it. I found this on Kayo, and it did not come this way. So it was all covered in this blue leather. I kept the blue leather, and it swirls. Oh, I'm gonna knock something over. It swirls around a little bit, so I can kind of do like that evil movement. I was doing that yesterday. But this was all just white leather, and I had it taken off. And this is a mulberry crewel work, and a mulberry is represented by Cravat. It's a UK brand, but the crewel work is very similar to the Suzani in the sense that it's raised. So I love that. It's not the exact same colors per se as everything else. I mean, the greens are perfect, the blues, but I really wanted to bring a floral in a way that was, you know, somewhat more approachable and less fussy. This pillow, Amazon, another Amazon find. Of course, I mentioned previously kind of my Pookie, you know, cordless lamp that's that artichoke style. And then I just have this little tea table, garden stool in orange. And it goes really well with my Hermes throw. You know, I just bring pops of orange in, you know, that's why I have my oranges over there. And kind of this is my little slice of heaven. I wish I was spending more time here, but this chair was definitely my moment. And last but not least, to finish off this space, I have my doorway here into my bedroom. And when I moved in, and I saw this in the photos, the doors were they were an offensive color of like light oak. So I knew I couldn't live like that. I couldn't do it. So what I did was I did peel and stick grass cloth from Wall Pops. The company's called New Wallpaper, NU Wallpaper. Not NEW, and I had it adhered to all of the doors. So you'll see that throughout, and you'll see it in my bedroom. I did a different color in my bedroom, but it definitely changed the vibe of this room tremendously. So I did the blue, and it has, you can see the texture and the gradation in it. It looks like real grass cloth, and what's nice about it is when I move soon, I will be able to pull it off. So it's something that you do not have to stress about. And for any of you inquiring minds of how you get it off, you actually use a hairdryer. And that's a way to loosen it. So that's your DIY tip of the day. And it's very affordable, but make sure you check the quantity. In terms of wallpaper, it's tricky, but this was definitely my favorite hack that I did in this apartment. So my advice for splurging on a rental and, you know, what you should save and what you should splurge on is, you know, when it comes to certain hard goods, so pieces like furniture, you know, of course, splurge on your sofa. I say that to all of my clients. You're gonna spend so much time on your sofa. Splurge on a good mattress. That's something you're going to want and you can take with you. And more likely than not, unless you got really lucky, like myself with this apartment, I manifested this, I have a king bed, you'll have a queen. So you can take that mattress with you. It'll last you 10 years. Invest in a good sofa. You can reupholster it. But you know, don't splurge on things like rugs. They might be a size that you're just not going to have, that, you know, you might not need, you know, a 5 by 7, 8 by 10. Maybe you're gonna move in a home and need a 10 by 14 or 12 by 15. So, you know, in some of the case goods, you can go a little cheaper. Like I'll show you in my apartment here, like there's so much that I got from Amazon. You know, I got a bistro table from Amazon for $100 and I put a beautiful Suzani on it. So there's so many things that you can doctor up. So definitely, you know, splurge on some of the case goods that you're gonna be using every single day, but like save on, you know, the throw pillows or something like that. You know, maybe invest in a few, but you can always get great ones from like TJ Maxx, Home Goods, West Elm, and they can be with you for that moment and you might outgrow them. So invest in really great hard goods, and anything that's gonna get beat up quite a bit, just, I'm not saying, you know, you want something to be disposable, but you don't have to spend a fortune for it to be beautiful. And now I'm gonna take you into the bedroom. And welcome to my bedroom. As I said, my favorite space in this whole apartment. So I guess the place to start is my king size bed. So when I was looking for an apartment, again, I did not see this before I leased it, I had a list of things that I wanted, and one was a dishwasher, another was a garbage disposal, the third was a bathtub, which I know people don't want bathtubs anymore, but I love a bath, and the fourth was room for a king size bed. So this is a king size bed, and this is from Wayfair. So it's very much a Serena and Lily dupe, I guess you could say. It definitely still is a higher price point, but it's covered in this blue linen, and it's so beautiful. I've always wanted a 4-poster bed, and this was finally my opportunity. So I'm thrilled with my bed. I've never had more interest in anything I have ever done in terms of when I post on social media than when I post this bed, which is funny because it is not custom and it wasn't done by me or designed, but I absolutely love this bed. So cozy, so comfortable. And of course I needed to adorn it with some beautiful linens. So this is something that I splurged on. And these are my Schweitzer linens. There's quite a few different amazing companies out there like Matouk and Leontine Linens. Schweitzer is one of my favorite. My mother loves Schweitzer linens. They have a store on the Upper East Side. And so this is their Springfield pattern, and this one's their duet, and it's this beautiful ruffle that's pink and green, my favorite color combination from when I was younger. My bedroom growing up, that was my first design, was pink and green toile. So I like to mix the Euroshams with standard and king and layer it all together. Yesterday we had a shoot here and there was a lot of drama around getting the scallops to stand up. So my poor team, Zoe included, who's here, had to kind of zhuzh behind, and we did a lot of tape. There's still some tape on the back here. That's a designer's trick to get things to stand up. But on the bed, I have the matching duet duvet cover, and then this pillow was brought back from my sister from Asia. It's Jim Thompson, silk designer. This pillow I stole from the primary bedroom at our home upstate. It's Furbish. I think they make one similar, but it says too much of a good thing is wonderful. I love needlepoint pillows. I collect them. I now needlepoint myself, which is my favorite thing. This bunny was from my very first apartment in Malibu, and somehow it has survived. And that was when I was 18, and now I'm like 32. So I don't know how I somehow have this bunny, but nothing else. And this quilt, this was my most recent and last purchase for this bedroom. It's from LL Bean, and it is the coolest quilt I have ever seen. If this was a handmade quilt, this would be a fortune. This, I think, was around like $300 from LL Bean. It's king size, and it has that true Americana vibe to it. And it's just so classic. And I like the juxtaposition. It's, you know, this kind of American, the arts and crafts movement is really big right now, with kind of some of this fancy, linens. So I love the contrast there. And then aside from my bed, my favorite thing in this room is my rug. And I cannot say more things about this rug. I could go on about this rug for days. So it is a Stanton rug. It's the Tattersall rug in Raindrop, or Rainfall, but I believe it's Raindrop. And I did a similar rug like this upstate, also by Stanton, in the screening room I built in our basement. But this rug comes in standard sizes. So this, I believe, is an 8x10. They come serged. So this is, again, if you're a designer, you know what serging is. If you're not a design enthusiast, this is serged. It's rather than being bound. But it is 100% New Zealand wool. I didn't have to have it custom cut or serged. It came this way. It was beautifully rolled out, and it is the most durable rug I have ever owned. I try and tell all of my clients this. You know, everyone is a big fan of all of these like indoor, outdoor rugs, and I am too. But at the same time, nothing wears like a wool rug. My little Cavapoo Millie is still learning, and we have had some accidents, and let me tell you, I have not had to flip out because of how durable this rug is. So I just use a little bit of Pellegrino, which I could be a little more responsible and use like sparkling water, but I only have Pellegrino in my fridge. So I use my fancy Italian water. But this rug is amazing and it will come with me everywhere. And what I love about it is that my boyfriend loves it. Men love it too. It has kind of still that masculine tartan vibe. So this rug is absolutely amazing. And onto my art. So on both sides of the bed, you will see I did suites of paintings. So they're different, and these are also from Minted. So I did one above the other. I wanted to create some interest and some height. So you know, it's framed in this gold. This is the first time you'll see I framed in gold in this apartment in something that was from Minted. So I did the gold above. I didn't do any matting here. I did a white matte. And it has all of the colors, you know, throughout the room and in my linens. I even have this teal, which you'll see in some welting, the light pink. So yeah, I did it on both sides to kind of marry the spaces, you know, each side of the bed. I like symmetry, what can I say? You know, again, to be renter friendly, I installed these sconces from Amazon. So these are an Amazon buy. They're hinge sconces. I also got the lampshades, just like these lampshades, which are, again, same exact style as the ones in my living room. These are from Amazon. This is covered by, I bought a piece of fillet. So there's actually a wire underneath here and they plug in. So I had my handyman Carl cut down the fillet. I got the fillet on Amazon and adhere it on top, and it just goes on with some tape. So this is something for all of you to think about if you're worried about wires. You know, it's obviously a brushed brass finish, and this is a polished brass kind of cover, but you can't really tell the contrast. And before, but I unplugged it, I had all echo lights, so you could turn them on and off with your voice, which also from Amazon and very, very cool. So I love these. I think they're gracious. I think they're beautiful. On my table here, again, my Amazon lampshades. I have my lamps from Wayfair. They're also gourd lamps. There's a tucked in the back, you can't see it, but I'll just mention it, a USB adapter, so you could actually charge your phone off of it if you're not USB-C yet. I have I inherited these from my mother. She collected Hermes bracelets. So these are something I always like to have on display, and I do throw them on. My wrist is a little bit bigger, but I wear them as cuffs around the top of my arm. And I have this little Limoges Eloise box that I got when I was very little. And again, this is one of the few things that has come from home to home with me. Another one of my Votivo red currant candles. And then both of these nightside tables match, and they're a light white burl wood with acrylic handles, and they're from Wayfair. So love them. And I love that there's, you know, 2 drawers. I can have my books on the bottom. You know, I even have I have tucked beneath here my Mar Kelly. It's M-A-R-Y-E Kelly. You know, decoupage box of tissues just tucked beneath there. This company is amazing. They do really great waste baskets, and they do beautiful tissue covers. I have a waste basket in the bathroom, but you can also buy those on Amazon. I'm not trying to shamelessly say everything's on Amazon, but I feel you can buy the world on Amazon now. some beautiful peonies, some design books, and then I wanted to point out another, I spoke about my favorite design hack in this apartment, and that is that I wallpapered with peel and stick grass cloth my doors. So this is a peach pink peel and stick grass cloth that was a collaboration between New Wallpaper and Society Social, which is kind of like an oomph, preppy-ish home line. Fantastic stuff. So they did a collaboration, and I had all of the doors covered in this peel and stick grass cloth, and I really believe it just finishes it off without having to paint the walls. And I also have this beautiful piece from Minted here that I saw in Britt Whitfield's apartment, and she had it on a smaller scale, but this big canvas from Minted, and again has a kind of a geometric vibe to it. It reminds me of the artist Susan English, which I had her paintings in my home in my living room upstate, and I had it framed, instead of in gold, I had it framed in rose gold. So this is a canvas that's been stretched and then rose gold. And then down below here I have my antique door stopper that was my grandmother's, and somehow that's made its way with me. So opposite the bed I have this piece. This was not done by Minted, but it is a poster. So this is from Society 6, which they do very inexpensive posters. I spent probably 1,000 times the cost of the poster on framing it, times 100 more. It was framed by Certified Framing, which is a woman, Jill Bockham. She's absolutely fantastic. And I had it matted in a silk mat that's green. And I had this done before I ever got the apartment. I was going to put it in our home in Florida in my bedroom, but it is iconic New York. Like, look at the subway and the map, and we have the pink and the green and the blue, and so it worked out perfectly. Everyone thinks it's a painting. I don't correct them, but the poster is probably $10. And at the end of the bed here, I always like to have a bench. Here I have two little X benches, and I can always put them together to take my shoes off. These shoes are not a prop. I actually wore them yesterday for my photo shoot, and they really remind me of Glinda, but pink. Wicked's just come out, so like that's a huge thing right now. But these X benches have this burgundy finish. I didn't change that. I loved it, and I covered them in this Anna Elizabeth tweed. So it has just like so much variation to it. And I welted in this teal, which is very much like the teal over in the painting above my bed from Cowton & Tao. So I love these. And what's nice about it, I won't show it, but they actually can be interchanged and work incredibly well in my living room. So that's something that I really try and do with smaller spaces, is have pieces that you can move from one room to another for additional seating that, they don't have to be matchy-matchy, but they go. Over here, I have, just a little French occasional chair and, a pillow with thistle. I don't know if this was Mackenzie Child's, but this was, honestly, I found it in our house and I loved it. And above the chair, I have this piece, which means so much to me. This was the first piece I ever bought when I started my design firm and I got my first paycheck. And, I, rather than investing the money, which compound interest, I decided to buy this piece. I got it on Cherish. I don't remember the name of the artist. However, it is a collage. It says, "You're going to get everything you want." I'm a big believer in manifestation, and it is actually made out of auction catalogs. And at my previous job where I worked, we did a lot with art auctions with Sotheby's and Christie's, and so it was just a beautiful painting, beautiful collage, and I had it framed in this Thibaut grass cloth, also by Jill Bockham, Certified Framing. But this piece has meant so much to me, and one day I want to put it in my office, but for right now it's a nice reminder when I wake up, just good vibes only. So love this. And coming back here, just last but not least, I have my lamps, I have my florals, I have my birth announcement that my mother sent out and my father when I was born. everyone now will know everything about me. But this is something that I was born in '92 to date myself. But this has gone with me to every apartment that I've ever lived in, as well as, you know, this heron box. Again, the elephant vibe, it comes from my home upstate to here. And then I have these two pieces of Chinese Staffordshire that I got actually in the floral district. So these are not antique heirlooms. They're just mine, and my books, a little bit of you know, ceramic. This isn't Toll, but it's reminiscent of Toll. I have a little chunky heart down here. I'm a big fan of chunky hearts, this little paperweight, and, you know, more design books. But this room and this view is definitely what I'm going to miss the most when I move. You'll see my bedroom is incredibly feminine, and I do believe, I know I do have to live with a boy one day, and that's both exciting, but also there's going to have to be some compromises, and I don't think that my pink and pastel bedroom will really be something that I can keep. Apparently in relationships you have to compromise and be a little bit more accommodating of other people's tastes. I definitely will miss that, and when I was designing, I kept that in mind. I didn't know right away what was happening, but I definitely, as it evolved, I just decided to go more and more in that feminine direction. So that's something that I'm gonna miss. The view from my bed, but my bedroom in general. Last but not least is this little entry and the bathroom. I just wanted to talk about this really quickly. This chair is, you know, modern, deco, I mean, obscure, loved it. This is also Kayo. And this piece here means so much to me. So this piece is actually by a street artist named Becca, B-E-C-C-A. And she came about at the time of like Huggy Bear, Thuggy Bear, I believe. It's one of those two. But long story short, this piece, she's an incredible street artist. She's collected by like amazing people. And I wanted this very large Tinkerbell that she did in 2010. And I had seen it with my mother and we fell in love, and I said, you should buy this because this woman is going to blow up. And sadly, we didn't buy it. But long story short, she did blow up, and I reached out after my mom passed away to see if we could actually get our hands on the piece. And sadly, it had been sold, but she had lost her mother recently also. And she sent me this. So she sent me a proof of one of her pieces. And, you know, it's signed, it's done, you know, it's so beautiful. It reminds me so much of my mother. I had it framed, again, by Jill Bauckham of Certified Framing, but this came randomly in the mail as a gift, and it was kind of the coolest thing ever. Again, she's collected by so many different, I think Katy Perry collects her, but it was just the sweetest, nicest gesture. So this piece I've always wanted to hang, and I love that it's right in my front entry. I wallpapered the doors here. I also have a washer dryer. Talk about manifesting everything on my list. I didn't mention that earlier. But now on to the bathroom. So here we are. Okay. Well, not much to say here, but you know, I did not wallpaper in here. I wallpapered the door and the interior of the door because, again, I wanted consistency throughout. But because I didn't want to wallpaper in here and I didn't want to paint, I decided to do, again, really amazing art. So this piece is absolutely fantastic. It's by an artist, Zach Mallard, Z-A-C, no K, Mallard. And it's so fun and it's so cool. I'm a big fan of pop art. And I love that he's young, he's hip, he's cool, he did this. And again, it's got a fun sentiment to it. So I have that here, and behind me I have this piece of art from Minted that I had framed in a silver stainless steel. And then I have this piece here. This is also from Minted. I had it framed in this silver stainless steel to pick up on all the fixtures. Some of them are polished nickel, but this kind of has this steel vibe. I have my faux orchid, and I did a little bit of dried moss on it to make it look more realistic. Over here, I just have this towel, which is kind of a Turkish towel. You can see the tassels on the bottom from this great company called Ukio, O-O-K-I-O. And then just a hand towel, my monogram, little guest towel. I have, you know, my decoupage Mark Helly wastebasket, and then I also have this beautiful rug. And this is the last kind of thing I'll mention. This rug I got in Peru, in Cusco, well, outside of Cusco, at the base of Machu Picchu, right before I hiked the Inca Trail to the top of Machu Picchu. So it was actually woven like in front of me, and it took them many days, and I got it back at the very end, but it's such a cool rug, and I brought it back from my travels in Peru. And then I have, of course, my Votivo candle. This is where I put my rings when I wash my face. This is actually my living room upstate, and it was done for me by this amazing shell artist, Leah Tyrrell. She has a company, Shuck and Awe, S-H-U-K. I love how I'm naming everything, but I'm the person who always is trying to figure out where something's from. But she does amazing, beautiful shell art. So I put my rings in here, and the colors, again, they kind of all tie together so well. And it's so fun and so beautiful. She makes the most amazing gifts. She does these Christmas trees and candelabras. So Shuck and Awe by Leah Tyrrell. And my very last thing, because, you know, we are designers and there's always smoke and mirrors, I have here all of my florals from my shoot yesterday. So let's just say it was a little crazy showering, but behind every interior designer is, you know, especially with a shoot like this, 4 or 5 closets, maybe a car, maybe, you know, a bed, a dishwasher, some cabinets filled with things you don't want anyone to see. So beautiful, could be an installation, but yeah, this is what really happens on these sets. So yeah, this is my bathroom. This is kind of a tough question. What does home mean to me? Because of the fact that I move all the time. So in the past 10, 12 years, I have moved over 20 times. And in the past 4 years, since 2020, of course, you know, some of them have been to and from homes that I own or rent or, you know, whatnot. I have moved so many times. So home to me really is wherever I am at that moment. And that's why I put such an emphasis on my environment. So, you know, even if I'm staying, I sublet an apartment briefly. Even if I'm staying there, I bring my own linens. Like, I think that there's such a belief with people that, you know, everything needs to be yours, but you can personalize it. I bring framed photos of my family with me to like sublets, and when I'm going to stay in a hotel, I'll bring a throw with me. So it's wherever I am at that given point in time, and just personalizing it in whatever way I can with whatever I can. So it's really, you know, of course you want to nest and you want something to be yours, but really it's making yourself feel comfortable and making other people feel comfortable where you are. Like, that's the idea of home for me.
Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Jessica. Welcome to my Chicago home. Come on in and let me show you around.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Like and subscribe for more.
Hi, welcome to my home. My name is Jessica Lagrange. I'm an interior designer for over 30 years, based in Chicago. I live in a beautiful 1930s Art Deco co-op building in the Gold Coast area of Chicago. We're about a block from Lake Michigan, and I feel very, very fortunate to live in such a beautiful area and have a beautiful apartment. What I love about this building is that it is 1 apartment per floor, so it feels very much like a home. I believe there are 12 stories. There's 1 apartment per floor. It's about 4,000 square feet. Some lucky residents are lucky enough to have 2 floors. We just have 1 floor. It is a 3-bedroom apartment, a very spacious living room, dining room, library, and a beautiful entrance foyer. I think what's unique about the apartment is the circular floor plan. It's very gracious, and it's not typical of the typical Chicago apartments where you see long railroad apartments. The architect designed that on purpose so it allows light on all sides of the apartment. As you exit the elevator into our apartment, you are greeted into this small little elevator vestibule. It's one apartment per floor, so the elevator opens directly into our unit. I think what makes this elevator vestibule special is the technique that I used on the walls and the ceiling. It's called verre églamisé. It's a very old technique of gold or silver leaf behind glass. And I've used it on the ceiling and on the walls. We've pieced it. But I think what makes this verre églamisé so successful is it has little drawings incorporated into it. And it goes back to my jungle flora and fauna theme that came out during my design process. There are little drawings of leopards and antelopes and palm trees. And it's just a beautiful technique. It was from a company called Gorman Studios out of Vancouver. And we worked with him to come up with a complete design. This is actually the service elevator. We created a jib door, so it covers the service elevator, but yet the whole room looks like it's paneled. I even did it on the ceiling. But I think to walk into this very dark, sexy space creates a huge impact. As we enter into the foyer, we designed two beautiful metal and bronze doors that are reminiscent of the doors at the entrance of the building. Some parts and pieces of this original apartment were missing, but I felt it was my duty to kind of bring it back to what I thought it may have been back at the time. We even found these beautiful Art Deco bronze door handles on a salvage website based in London, so we incorporated those into the design. We had a machine shop here in Chicago make these. As you enter our foyer, you have the beautiful terrazzo floor. I added the little brass cabochon. I felt the floor needed a little bit more zip to it, so gave it a little bit more glamour. Beautiful vaulted ceiling. One of my great finds was these beautiful Fortuny fixtures. At one time back in the day, Restoration Hardware was representing or selling Fortuny fixtures, so this was a great find that looked beautiful in here. Collected some beautiful antique furniture. I love the little settee we have here with the green and black animal print, the abstract collage above. Again, I think what makes this room successful is this series of different periods and styles. I think what is really great about this foyer is the little bar we have as you walk in. I've upholstered the bar in a beautiful purpley burgundy leather with studs. It feels great right when you enter someone's house to be offered a drink. I've even collected some beautiful barware with all my crazy collections from live auctioneers and all sorts of different places. And it just represents everything about me and what we like to do, and makes this foyer feel like its own space. Some of the favorite barware I've collected are a little oil can, so you can have the perfect amount of vermouth in your martini. I even found a sterling silver syringe to put vermouth in, again, for your martinis. We love to have some stirs. I'm a big collector of Elsa Peretti. This is one of her beautiful martini glasses that she designed back in the day. And I think it's so much fun to put it all together. My favorite coasters are the Mrs. Strong's paper coasters that says, "This is your last drink." Very successful towards the end of a party to pass these out. And on the other side here, we have some vintage barware at the top. And my favorite glassware, I had little bugs engraved on all the different stemware. So every stemware has a little bug on it. But again, more vintage barware over here, and I just think it looks fabulous all together. The building that I live in was designed by a prominent Chicago architect, Philip Maher. His father was an architect, George Maher, and they were quite well known in the city of Chicago and the surrounding suburbs. George, the father, designed a lot of prairie-style buildings. His son took over the practice and designed a lot more classical style buildings, a little bit Art Deco. This was in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. The building that we live in the Gold Coast was designed in 1929, and shortly after that he designed another building, I'll call it a sister building, very similar in style, directly across the street. They're very beautiful and prominent buildings in the city of Chicago. Philip also designed the Women's Athletic Club about the same period on Michigan Avenue. And when I was renovating this apartment, I took a lot of cues from the Women's Athletic Club and incorporated them here in our home. This is a unique building. The woman that sold the properties to the developers back in the 1920s, I honestly can't remember her name, but she said, I want to live on the 4th floor and I want a particular layout. So this apartment is unique to this building. I think the woman that lived in this apartment wanted to be at treetop level. We are a block from the lake, so we have some views of the lake. We have the views of the treetops. We have a beautiful park across the street. So it's just perfect. I have a sense of what's down below, but I also have some beautiful views. I think what's really beautiful is to see all the leaves that change through the seasons, see the bare trees, the trees just blossoming. It's the perfect apartment. I couldn't be happier here. Welcome to the living room. Another favorite room in my house. As you can see, I've decorated it with a lot of neutral colors. I think the views from this space are incredible with the park across the street. One of my favorite pieces in my living room is the spider web designed by Anne Carrington. It consists of bugs and spiders, and there's even coins incorporated in here and safety pins. She's an artist from the UK, and I'm very inspired by her work. So we had it specially designed above the fireplace. Speaking of the fireplace, there was a very insignificant fireplace here. So we had a new one designed. It's cast glass. It felt very appropriate, kind of from the 40s. David Adler, a well-known architect that did a lot of work here in the Chicago area, used a lot of cast glass in his room, so it felt appropriate to be using it in this living room. It has some silver leaf behind it, so it lets off a beautiful, beautiful glow. Another one of my favorite pieces is an Eric Schmidt, who's a well-known sculptor, and I found this in New York City many, many years ago. So it's gone with me to several homes, but I think it's found a beautiful place in front of the fireplace, and everyone loves sitting here. It's actually a very comfortable chair. We have 2 seating groups in this living room. We've created one by the fireplace, where I've done 2 coffee tables, a little bit more contemporary, in beautiful rosewood. Simple cubes designed for the space. And then as you go across to the other seating group, I have a beautiful vintage Kelvin and Philip Laverne coffee table that has a beautiful, it's a beautiful organic shape with some drawings on top of it. So I think they play nicely off each other. It was a great exercise for me to design my own apartment in the last few years. I think I'm in a different place in my life now. It was interesting to see things come out in my style that I wasn't that familiar with. I was attracted to, I'll just say, flora and fauna. As I say to people that come to my home, welcome to my jungle. There was an underlying theme that came out during this process of flora, fauna, bugs, all sorts of things. And you'll see that when I give you a tour of the apartment. And I have to say my style is very eclectic. I love to collect things. It's always a work in progress. It's never finished, and it only gets better the longer I stay here. So I've really enjoyed this process. I think designing for yourself is one of the hardest things. It's much easier to design for a client, but this has been really, really fun and enlightening. I think what brings me the greatest joy coming into my home is seeing all the things I've collected, back to collections again. It brings back memories. I love looking at my photographs. I love looking at the art I've collected. It all has a purpose to me, and it all has a history. So that to me gives me the greatest joy. One of the other favorite pieces that I found during this design process in New York at the 200 Lex Design Center was this beautiful secretary designed, I think, about 1950s by Piero Fornasetti. If you're not familiar with Fornasetti, he is an Italian designer and artist from Milan. He did a lot of furniture, objects, and went in and out of style, but when I found this piece, he was very much in style. So it's beautifully lit. It's black and white, beautiful architectural drawings on it, and I've put some of my favorite collectibles. As I'd mentioned before, I love collecting Elsa Peretti objects, and these are a collection of my Elsa Peretti objects, and again, just some of my favorite things. One of the earlier selections that I made in the design process was this beautiful rug by Christopher Farr. It is silk and has a beautiful serpentine, actually several serpentines that wrap around the outside of the room that we had specially designed. And I think what's beautiful is the pomegranate at the in the snake's mouth at the end of the rug. And you'll see that we planned it exactly to work with the floor plan. I think what makes this room successful, and in many of the projects that we do, is combining different periods and different styles of furniture. To the right here, we have a beautiful John Saladino sofa that was designed in the 70s that is still current today. I have some vintage Art Deco chairs, again, another period and another style. We've also incorporated some beautiful upholstery pieces from Roman Thomas, Madeline Stewart. So I think it's a series of, or it's a combination of many different styles that makes this room look comfortable and collected. I have an interesting journey the way I started my career in interior design. I went off to college for a couple of years, not knowing what I wanted to do. I came back home thinking, what is my path? Where am I going to go? I was lucky enough to have somebody connect me with the great firm Skidmore, Owings and Merrill, and they hired me as an intern. I had no experience. It was just somebody that opened the door for me. I think that's so important for me to do to other people and to give back in that way. So that set me on my career path. After that, I decided I need to go back to get an education in this. I think it's super important to have some type of education, whether it's a 2-year degree or a 4-year degree in design. I graduated from the School of the Art Institute here in Chicago, and again, was able to get some internships at another architectural firm. And then I started off on my own path. It was interesting. I started out doing commercial work, but I was having some of my commercial clients ask me to work on their homes. And at first I turned it down. I really thought residential design was not my forte. But again, somebody gave me the opportunity. Someone opened the door for me and I helped them do their home. And one job led to another. Another one was somebody I was carpooling with when I had my children. Could I help her with some draperies? And I'm like, I really don't do draperies. I do offices. And one thing led to another, It's my best client ever, and I've done 3 or 4 homes for them. And started my own firm, Jessica Lagrange Interiors, about 25 years ago. Started by myself, and it's grown. And I couldn't be more proud of it. And it's a rewarding, exciting career. Every day is different. I've now entered my dining room. Again, one of the earlier pieces to this puzzle was this beautiful, beautiful Zubair grisaille wall covering. Again, specially designed for the room. We had it all laid out based on ceiling heights and openings. And I just love the colors. It's all in naturals and grays. And if you look closely, there's even some beautiful gold detailing. So it feels very understated, but yet there's an elegance to it. Another, I think, highlight of this room is the beautiful Hervé van der Straten chandelier. And I love the play between the very traditional wall covering and the more contemporary lighting in this space. I think they play off wonderfully from each other. I feel a home is always a work in progress. I'd been searching recently for some chairs to put on either side of my buffet, and I just found some a couple of weeks ago. These are beautiful 40s, maybe 50s Aldo Turo vintage chairs, done in a beautiful dark parchment with a shearling seat. I think, again, they add a special detail and make the room look very collected. Another great find on Live Auctioneers is this beautiful Jacques Annette bar cart. Has some nice leather detailing that is a signature of his work, and got to have a bar in every room. So we added one to the dining room for after dinner drinks. We have beautiful double doors into our dining room, and I love to keep them closed and be able to open them right before we serve dinner. Have all the candles lit, all the flowers, all the beautiful china that I have and glassware, and why not use it all the time? Don't save it for special occasions, but bring it out, and it's fun to set a fabulous table, and I think your guests really appreciate the effort. I love the beautiful gold vases. They're nothing special, but they are fun to accessorize with. I usually just have some odd floral. You can be very loose with it. Right now I have some eucalyptus in there, but I like to keep it low and not just have one big centerpiece. So it's fun to play around with this. Also, the candlesticks I've had for years and very collectible. And again, just to scatter them down the table makes things feel a little bit more casual, I think. And everyone looks good in candlelight. So we need a lot of candlelight, especially at our age. It's obviously become apparent I'm a collector, and one of the things I started collecting early on were silver boxes. Back in the day, I used to go to flea markets, and they weren't expensive. They've gotten more expensive, but luckily I think I'm maxed out with my silver box collection. I think they look beautiful displayed all together. This is one of my favorite silver boxes because it's a box on top of a box, which I'd never seen before, so that one was unique. I think what's unique too are the ones that all have initials or things written on them. So again, maybe not my history, but somebody's history, and it's nice to be able to incorporate them in my life. I started collecting back when I was in my early teens. I think my mother always loved going to flea markets, garage sales, etc. So it's kind of part of my personality. Lately, it's amazing the things that you find online. I think one of my biggest secrets, and I'm not sure it's a secret, is a website called Live Auctioneers. It's better than any flea market, better than any antique show that I've been to. And for those of you that are listening, if you don't know what it is, look up Live Auctioneers. It consolidates all the auctions from across not only the US, but the world. And you can find things for $25 and $25,000. And it's an obsession of mine. A lot of the things I've found in my apartment have come from Live Auctioneers. I've gone up a little bit off the deep end a few times, and things have arrived a little bit larger, smaller, or more than I expected, but it's really fun, and there are many, many bargains to be had. This is the original layout of the kitchen. We were lucky when we bought this apartment that the cabinetry was all here in place, but it was kind of a boring white kitchen, so we decided to hip it up a little bit. I painted all the cabinets a high gloss black lacquer. We changed the stone to Calcutta Violette, and we put in a new hood, specially designed the hood, and it gave it kind of a new life without having to replace all the cabinetry. Beautiful unlacquered brass, industrial style hardware, nice and chunky. Appliances were all here, so we just kind of gave it a mini facelift. Some of the other things I've collected over the years are trophies. Again, going back to my flea market days, nobody wanted trophies. So I have a large collection of trophies here, as well as another house we have. And those were fun collecting, as well as bud vases. I was collecting bud vases over the years. Again, nobody wanted bud vases, but I've got a great collection of them now. So it's a hodgepodge of everything in here, but it all means a lot to me. This is our library. I think it's one of the most used rooms in the home. Behind the cabinetry, we have a big screen TV, so of course everyone hangs out in here. What was difficult about this room was the paneling was here when we bought the apartment, but it was a very orangey pine, kind of 1980s looking paneling. So what I did was bleach the paneling, wire brush it, and restain it. And I think we gave it a really pretty brownish gray color that felt a little bit more updated than what was here. We also opened up the library to the living room, so you have a beautiful view into the living room and into the dining room. Again, I think what makes a house a home is the collection of books, and my partner is a serious reader, as am I, and lots of books. I've been a collector of the beautiful Abercrombie and Fitch, beautiful leather footstools over the years, and my collection keeps growing. I've got an elephant and a kitty cat and a hippopotamus, and again, add some personality to the space. We have beautiful drawings that I collected on either side of the window by Sonia Delaunay that bring a little color to the space. This room has more color than the other rooms. I've used green in here. My partner adores green, so he got his green in here, and the little paintings I think really add a pop of color, as do the green sewn chairs, and I think the green and black look fabulous together. Beautiful kind of deco-y looking rug by Galbraith and Paul, and a beautiful parchment coffee table by Metaliano. A lot of my favorite vendors that we use for all our clients. Before you walk into the powder room, I found a beautiful mirror on First Dibs by Poilerat. And I just think it really is a sensational piece, and I feel very fortunate to have it. And luckily, it fit perfectly between the front hall closet and the powder room entrance. I think as a designer, one of the favorite areas I like to design are powder rooms. You can be really bold and outrageous because it's a contained space. So I did the same here. I've always been obsessed with marbleized papers. There's a wonderful artist in the States here that will customize marbleized papers for you. And we came up with a series of paint colors, and she did about 5 or 6 different papers for us. And then we patchworked them in this room. So they're all different sizes and shapes. I think I drove the wall covering installer a little crazy, but we even put it on the ceiling, and I just think it makes for a very eclectic space. One of the other highlights in here are the sconces on either side of the mirror. They're a mermaid and a merman. I didn't even know there was such a thing as a merman, but they hold the beautiful lights in the room. And every home needs a little bit of a Nero Portoro stone. The black with the gold veining is the vanity here. And again, another favorite space. It's really fun to be able to design for yourself. I think what gives a home its soul is its contents. Whenever I work with a client, I'm like, what do you collect? What are your favorite things? Show me the books you read. Let me look at your closet. There's so many clues to what people are when you see their belongings. And when I go on vacation, I love to collect things. I love to find things. I love books. I once had a client who had no books. I'm like, how can you not have any books? Books kind of describe a person's personality. Are they fashion books? Are they mystery books? Are they history books? And that's what gives an apartment its soul. Its belongings, its contents. And you see it here everywhere. This is our primary bedroom. The inspiration for my primary bedroom was the beautiful Chelsea textiles drapery fabric that I had been eyeing for years. And again, it is a embroidered fabric with bugs that are jeweled and beautiful gold threads. And I know this was the inspiration for my master bedroom. I felt so fortunate to be able to use it in this space. So again, I'm drawn to more neutral color palettes, but was able to incorporate a little color in here. I wanted to use a screen behind my bed. So we found this beautiful Rebelli embroidered fabric that I had designed into a beautiful screen. Another find of mine that I just love is the beautiful Maison Charles light fixture on the ceiling. Again, a little glamorous, but comfortable. The Rosemary Hallgarten silk rug is just, I love that it leaves all the footprints and shimmers a little bit. I don't know, I just find it really inviting. And I work in here as well. When I'm working from home, a beautiful secretary that I've accessorized with some beautiful antique books and some things that I've collected over the years. And I just find it very, very inviting and comfortable in here. Another favorite piece I'd wished for years was this beautiful Merit Oppenheim ostrich leg table. And again, found it on First Dibs and couldn't wait to use it. Again, I'm going back to my flora, fauna, and animal obsession. And I just think it's so sculptural and so classic. So again, pieces that are more traditional with pieces that are more contemporary, things that just never go out of style. They're classic. Another favorite piece that I found on Live Auctioneers is this kind of 1940s antique mirrored sideboard. And it just fit in here perfectly. As far as the reason to put the screen behind the bed was, I didn't want the bed to be the center or the focus of the room. I'd looked for some artwork, couldn't really find any artwork that I was excited about, but I did fall in love with this fabric. I think the best way to incorporate this fabric was to have a screen designed using the fabric. I think it has since been discontinued from Rubelli, but again, it incorporated all my favorite colors and it is like a piece of artwork. Starting with my first trip to Italy, I'd say maybe about 40 years ago, I was lucky enough to buy a beautiful, and I'm not sure which one it is, sterling silver seashell. And again, over the years, I have found more and more and more. And I think they look beautiful, all massed and grouped together. And you can never have enough beautiful seashells. This is our master bath. Again, I was fortunate when I purchased the apartment that all of the millwork was here. It was a great layout, 2 separate vanities, a dressing table in the center. But what we did do was replace all the stone. I used a beautiful Calcutta stone, and I did a beautiful inlay by Waterworks. Again, collected beautiful silver, beautiful Venetian glass chandelier, and I created this nook for the tub area with the beautiful antique mirror. I love the sconces that I found in the Marche du Pouce in Paris, Murano glass ginkgo leaves, which I think are a showstopper. And of course, heated the floor, which makes all the difference in the world. But it's a joy to have so much natural light in here, view the treetops, and put on your makeup. I also found this beautiful grotto chair in Palm Beach, and I feel it fits in here perfectly. This is one of 2 guest bedrooms in our home. We have older children that come to visit, so we like to keep bedrooms waiting for them. We call this the red room. I wouldn't exactly call it red. It's more of a cinnabar color. It was a beautiful wall covering that kind of set the tone for this room that I found from Gregorius Pinio. And I think the other inspiration for this room was this beautiful Moroccan rug. You often think of Moroccan rugs as being more beige and brown, but this one had beautiful, soft, muted colors in it and worked really well with the wallpaper. When we moved in here originally, there was not any millwork. So I added the bookcases to the room. This is the bed that I had that we repurposed in this room. I think one of the little features that I did are the little reading lights that are on either side of the bed for our guests. Love these little high intensity lights. But I think this room really got the overflow of all my collections from our previous homes. So again, a hodgepodge. One of my favorite collections are these beautiful African passport masks that I have scattered throughout the house. Traveled a lot and came across beautiful little crosses from many different countries. So they're up here on the walls. Funky little folk art leg. Just a little bit of everything in here. So it brings back lots and lots of memories. My younger son, Remy, loves to stay in here. He finds it really welcoming. And again, I'm going to reference that we've got a Hans Wegner, 1950s, 60s Papa Bear chair here with an African stool. It's just, again, a collection. It looks like it's been here forever. And a lot of it has been here forever. One thing that I started collecting early on are these beautiful cashmere paisley shawls. You can see pieces of them on the bed, and I have them stacked here at the end of the bed. And I think I have enough now. I don't need any more, but they're fun to use as tablecloths or on the bar. And again, I love the colors. I think those were also an inspiration for the color in this room. We have a great collection on the wall across from me of vintage wax seals. Again, the same reddish colors. They are framed by the beautiful Fortuny draperies. And again, all my favorite things. I was lucky to be able to incorporate all my favorite things into this home. With my love of paisley, I even unexpectedly put it on the Hans Wegner chair. Usually you'll see this in a solid color fabric or a boucle, but I was a little bold. It's actually an Etro fabric. Etro does a lot of great paisleys. It wasn't a vintage piece, but again, it's unexpected and I love it. I think growing up as a child, my mother had one paisley shawl. I've taken it to extremes, but don't know what I'm going to do with all of them, but I just love looking at them. They bring me such joy and beautiful colors. What does home mean to me? Home means somewhere I can feel comfortable, I can relax. It feels like my own space. It feels welcoming, feels warm, somewhere where I can just let go.
Thanks for watching. For more Homeworthy content, be sure to like and subscribe.